The train headed for Sunset City will be departing soon.
Oreos and piss.
Isn't there like a little Oreo cereal
Yeah.
where it's just got like the little
Yeah,
Oreos?
there is.
Oreos.
Yeah.
Isn't there
Oreo
cereal
rolls.
like
Oreos.
dipped in piss?
I love dipping
you
my
eat
Oreos.
cereal.
I like to leave it in the piss for a little while so it gets like soft.
This episode of Sunset City is not brought to you by
piss.
soon.
Look, if it's not one bodily fluid, it's another. Is it really that different from milk?
Oh,
It's kind of pus. Kind of pus. It's
titty
kind of
piss.
pus.
By the way,
Oh, no,
we've
it's worse than
been
that.
on the air for a bit, so Wayne, you want to introduce us? Okay.
Oh, no.
All right, I'll take that as a yes.
It's kind of pus.
Well, all right.
Pus said city.
Welcome back to Sunset City, a
Sunset
Sonic podcast
Pus.
for the modern and classic age. So over, I hate this so much. Opposite end of me on the table, we've got Channel Pup.
Hello.
Yeah, it's all you got to say. Just hi.
Well, am I some kind of performing monkey now? I'm just saying hi.
No, you're
We'll
just
get
saying
into the
hi.
main topic later. What is this, a dating app? Let's just go. Hi. That's all you're getting. All right?
And it ghosts you. All right. Next to him, we have Channel Nick.
I'm also just going to
Apologist?
say hi unless you have like some follow-up questions that expect me to speak more.
Well, sadly, you already
piece
just
of
said
trash.
more than hi
Yes,
right
you
there, so kind of
already
you're
said
already
more than
like
hi.
you failed the assignment entirely.
Yeah,
I'm
look
tired.
at you trying to be snarky, and you played right into my hand.
Biggest shit roll in history.
Wayne
Really,
just,
how you doing this
Wayne
morning?
just wants to get yelled at. That's all it is.
I'm looking at these burgers.
Burgers.
They're not. Where are these burgers from?
I just
Which
I actually, you know what? Before you say it, Pup, before you grabbed it from, I actually want a round table real quick guess because I'm now curious. I'm betting Burger King
Yeah, Burger King's the only thing I can think of.
with the
I
sesame
think,
buns. Makes me think Burger King.
What are we talking about?
McDonald's, I think, but I
That is
actually
not
don't know.
fucking McDonald's.
I don't. It's McDonald's promo pick McDonald's. Okay.
Which
No, that is-
burgers?
Fine, I'm gonna have to
Oh.
just pick Wendy's so that we all have different answers.
But that's not a
Sure
square
is.
patty.
Cirrus. We know it's not Wendy's.
Come on. Now you're just trying to be argumentative.
Wait,
How
what
is
do you
it
got?
argumentative? I literally just selected a thing. Nick, I think you're the one that picks arguments.
Cirrus, you can't just
No.
look at a thing and call it another thing.
You can't just do this.
I look at you and call you a friend.
Oh.
He's so mean.
All
isn't
right,
he?
well,
Like, he's so
eat your
fucking
square.
mean.
Okay, Cirrus, eat your square Wendy's burger while I go play
I think they stopped doing
Sonic as Orange Tails.
Yeah,
I-
the
I-
correct
I
think
mean,
when
yeah,
you stop
that
doing
would
the
be
square
correct
burgers.
because Tails is indeed.
That would be
orange.
correct.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a Wendy's burger, and Tails is orange.
High five,
Hey,
Pup. Once
I-
again, we're on the right side of the table.
Yep.
I hate
high
how
five.
burrowed into my brain that is now because I was watching, the homework for today, and
Oh,
immediately
don't
I was
call it
just
the
like, wait.
homework. I only said that jokingly. Let's not call it that. I hate that.
I'm not saying it jokingly, but
you should-
we'll
come
get into
on,
that.
man.
Oh, you
this-
poor
we-
thing. You
This
poor
is
thing.
this is not
It
how
was
we
fine.
do it. This
It
is
was
not the way we
fine.
roll.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Wayne at least a bit of credit for doing it. I'm gonna bet money Gilly is not even bothered.
What?
Gilly ain't
Watch-
do shit. He doesn't do
You
anything.
didn't watch Sonic Prime
Episode
episode, whatever,
one.
did you?
Oh no,
season-
I'll quit the podcast before I watch Sonic Prime.
God damn.
I don't.
To
I've
be
never-
fair, no, we'll get into it.
I've never cared about anything less than Sonic Prime.
All right, and there we go. Amy is also red, according to Nick. Just living Nick Law. I'm going crazy. I'm going nuts. Pink
Yeah?
is a form of red. That is not up for debate. It is not. It is. I refuse that one.
What is
I
orange a form of?
refuse that.
I mean, you kind of
So you're
like
saying that
orange
the way
is a
you're
you
saying
secondary
that
color.
the way you posited
pink-
it was a little irrelevant, but like at the same time, I don't entirely disagree. You know?
I
No,
mean,
honestly,
Are you
a
saying
joke.
pink is a lightish red?
Yes.
There's a word for that, Nick.
Pink.
Called a tint. Is
Pink
what it's called.
is generally considered a
color-
tint of red. The colors of most.
I don't know.
tints
I
are
mean, like,
slightly
I mean,
What
it's
is
not-
orange?
I mean,
What is
I mean,
orange
pink is-
a
I mean, pink is
form
not
of,
a
then?
pink is
Orange
not a
is
shade
a
of
secondary color.
pink is
Wayne.
not a shade of white. So first of all, if you mix white with anything, it's no longer white.
So factually,
Oh,
pink is
wow.
white is not
Gilly.
considered in art terms. It's not considered a color.
pink is considered a tint of red. But Nick, you knew what you were doing, mate. Come on, like come on.
Yeah, that was the joke there. I wasn't
No,
exactly
yeah,
expecting
yeah.
anybody to be like, "Oh no, it's not actually red."
You're gonna get mad when people start harassing you about it, and
I'm gonna
you
start
should've
calling
known.
pink light red.
But it's got a little bit of blue in it. It's got a little bit of blue.
Wasn't there already?
What has
wasn't
blue
this
in
an-
it?
Wasn't
Pink
this
has a little
already an
blue.
entire running gag in Red versus
Pup,
Blue? Like
Why do you
50
think I
years
said
ago?
it,
Pup,
Wayne?
pup, pup.
Pink
What?
has a little blue in it.
What?
What?
Yes.
Pink has a little bit of blue in it.
Yeah, pink
What
has
are you
a little bit of
talking
blue. It's
about?
got a little bit of white and a little bit of blue, and that makes pink.
No,
No.
no,
Wait,
it doesn't.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, what?
No, pup. It's red and white.
It's red and white, dude.
If you go
It's not
on,
red, white, and blue. This is not America. It's,
but there is a version of pink that has a little blue in it, like the one on
That's
Gilly's
A
little
version,
outfit
but
there.
you can't make
Actually,
Purple light
so
with
I'm
a little
imagining.
hint of red makes pink. That's pink.
Actually, I just got curious because I was like, "There's no fucking way," and there is a page for pink on Wikipedia that points out that the colors of most tints of pink do contain blue.
Well, what do you know? What do you know? Thank you, Cyrus.
I hate my life. Stop. This is not something you should be right about. Go home.
Listen, Pup wasn't right. He just wasn't wrong.
I'll accept that. I'll accept that.
I'll-
but you're
I'll
saying most
also-
shades. You're saying
Oh.
shades of pink. I'm
Okay.
saying the color pink.
They're all
pink. Is there any
Pink?
such thing as a pure
Pink
pink?
is red and white. Pink is red and yes, red and white.
You keep saying that pink is what you say pink is. Have you ever tried asking pink what it is?
No, because I don't. Let's move
His
on.
feelings don't matter.
I know what you almost just said there. That's brilliant.
Anyway, Cyrus, you haven't introduced yourself yet.
I don't want to.
I'm bad. Bad
We're
introduction.
still introducing.
I'm bad at this. I'm bad at introducing us.
I mean, no
Yeah,
argument
anyway,
from me,
hi.
you know, like I don't disagree.
Man.
Anyway,
All right, well, we got a lot
Hi,
to do
everybody.
today.
Good old pink America.
I guess, I've got a topic here today that's just gonna have Nick tickled pink.
don't touch me. All right. So, yeah, we do have actually have a few topics here. Bob, do you want to kick us off here with this blockchain situation? I mean, most of the stuff's just real quick little
Yeah,
things.
I
don't know if
haven't
there's
actually
really
done any research into this. Or
That last one's not real quick. It's about 4 years.
So this is another instance of I read the headline, so that's like enough to go by. So Sega will not be incorporating the blockchain into future Sonic products or Yakuza or any of their hot ticket items to maintain brand integrity, but they might still maintain a non-committal relationship with Web3 for their super game that they're working on, which we don't know.
That announcement, Scott, big Scott the Woz will not be at Too Many Games Energy.
It does. Oh God.
Oh.
Why would you put blockchain in like a Sonic thing though? That's like Sonic's for kids. Like, how is a kid gonna use a blockchain? Like, what?
Kids.
No, they don't actually genuinely care if it's for kids or not. It's not a morality thing. Like blockchain's involved. It's about money.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
even saying that. I'm like, how are they even going to use that? A kid's going to just see the word blockchain, and be like, I farted, you know, like.
So my roommate is a big Neopets fan, right? And she's
love
in like the
Neopets,
official Neopets. This is going somewhere. She's part of the big Neopets like Discord server and everything. Well, the creator of Neopets, or one of the co-creators rather, came onto the Discord the other day and was just like, "Hey, I want to talk to you guys about my new game." And he starts going on about it. Turns out it's a giant, stupid NFT thing. And they're all like, no, we're not really into that. So he just starts going off on them. And is just, eventually it just came together in this big, he had this, I hate Neopets and I regret that I ever made it because of this Discord. And like, I think he took a picture of himself, like, flipping off the camera
God.
because nobody wanted his stupid NFT project.
That's
See, I
really
want
bloody
blockchain.
funny.
I want blockchain in Pokemon. That way, like every Pokemon that you catch is like it's like an NFT, so it's actually your Pokemon. Yeah.
Like,
I have never wanted to throw Gilly in a blender as much as I want to do
I saw
right
that.
now.
I saw that.
It would make more sense for Digimon, but I still don't want that.
I saw that.
Okay, wait. If we're speaking just like objectively here, is that not the? That's probably the only scenario where that thing would even make any lick of sense.
What, Digimon?
No, any kind of like monster collecting video game.
Yeah, but I mean, Pokemon kind of tags Pokemon. You know, the actual Pokemon with like its original. It's not quite the same thing, I know, but no.
Well, the whole idea is that you would own that number.
Did you guys see that Spyro 4 leak thing? That's like about block. That's not real.
Was that just M? I think that was just M.
It's just a shit post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, did M make that, or was that somebody else that he?
Oh, I don't know exactly. I can't remember.
I mean, nothing about that looked real. It looked ridiculous.
I mean, for starters, it had the Insomniac logo at the bottom of it, and they don't work on Spyro anymore. So,
well, also none of those logos made any like where they were placed didn't make any sense. They were like too like.
But to be
spatially,
fair, like inside
like
documents,
a graphic designer did not.
Like
it was.
If it's an inside document, they're usually a little slapdash. Like.
I think I responded under, and I was just like, I hope Spyro comes onto my TV and beats me up and steals my wallet.
So Spyro post
want you to take a vacation to the beach.
But yeah, I guess we got nothing to fucking say about this blockchain news, huh? Like
David Crespo said, Gilly is just Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. That is a compliment.
I agree.
That is my favorite character from any TV show.
None of this matters.
Now we need a video essay that's just called Carl, a study in nihilism.
I don't need no instructions to know how to rock.
I think it was a while ago. It was like I did one of those memes, but it was like Cirrus as Carl.
I think so.
It was just yelling about his Marco's Pizza getting sent. Like the order was in at the wrong location.
Oh my god. I was wondering, do you think NFTs have just run their course, or have people that have been mad about it just given up being mad about it, moved on?
I think it's a bit of column A, bit of column B. They are dying. It's like they're not nearly as lucrative as they were when they first started out. Like they had monetary success when it started. That's been dying off. Like that can't be refuted.
Yeah, there's a number of different factors at play here. Because for one, the popularity is reducing. In complete balanced fairness, from what I've researched and understood, their environmental impact is virtually null and void these days, anyways. And it's just seen as like just this crappy Ponzi scheme, frankly.
Yeah, that's the only thing is like
we can kind of just laugh them off at this point, like
you seen that Trump superhero one? That's
I saw it. That was fucking hilarious.
I think they've gone. I can't say anything about whether or not they're environmentally friendly or whatever. I mean, they are still stupid, but it's I don't think they're gonna go anywhere. They've been introduced into the market. They'll be there in one form or another at this point.
It will just be a little cult thing as well. Like I reckon it's not going to be bleeding into pop culture quite as much as it was early on.
Yeah.
Well, now because everybody's mad at AI now, we've moved on.
There it is. I was wondering. Yeah, there's a new digital thing to be angry about. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Justification is there, but like,
that's not even a joke. That's literally. That's
he's right. I agree. Yeah. Like whether or not it's justified, the internet has a tendency to get mad and up in arms about a thing and then forget about it and move on to another thing to be mad and up in arms about.
I mean, when we look at the internet as a giant monolith, which it's not, then we kind of get that assumption every time. But
the key is we just got to
we're looking at a couple billion people as if they're one person.
Yes, they are, and they all have ADHD.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm wondering if maybe we should move on here.
I agree. Let's I don't really think this is news, Pup, but I mean you put it here. Sonic's Twitter profile finally gets a new display pic.
I mean, how is that not news? It's a new thing. It happened. That's news.
Oh my god.
It's crap news, but it's news, is it not?
Anyway,
yeah, Sonic-
on to the next thing, I guess.
Sonic's Twitter has a new profile pic. It's the Superstars render, but the thing I find funny about it is that it's still made to a circular form, even though the Twitter page has a square image. And it really
And
is
that's
anything
literally
but modern
all
Sonic
that
these
can
days.
be said about that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cool. Like, they haven't changed their profile picture since the 25th anniversary.
I do not give a single shit about their profile picture.
I just think it's kind of cool that they finally changed it, you know? Like, it shows that this
I-
Superstars is a big
You know-
deal, you know? Like,
You know what, Pop? I think you're kind of cool.
thanks, man. I think you're cool, too.
Thank you.
Now, come over here. You can give me a little kiss.
Okay, I'm not doing
Okay. This one's not exactly Sonic related, but I thought it was interesting all the same. There was this big leak that just happened out of nowhere,
Nice.
not really relevant to modern day stuff, but yeah, a bunch of documents circulating from 1996's Sega of America just dropped online. Just really kind of going over where the brand was at, giving us a little bit more insight into a lot of internal drama between Sega of America and Sega of Japan, which is not exactly.
That's not
surprise.
new. That's always happening.
It does kind of show you just how much of a fucking problem. I don't know. Like, just Sega really did shoot themselves in the foot, in my opinion. I do think it's fascinating though. Like, we have like the second E3 ever. Like, we have like the floor layout of what they were doing for all that and stuff like that. It's just,
I don't think
I
this
don't know.
is really news.
Oh, yeah.
It's from 1996.
just new history about this giant corporation. No, definitely less interesting than a fucking Twitter picture.
I mean, he's got a point. It did happen a long time ago.
It was so long ago. Just let it go, man.
What else was long ago?
That's not news. That's olds.
You're gonna hold my birth against me as well?
And yet some of us started careers off that.
You want to hold my birth against me as well? I was born in 1996. What, you want to keep banging on about that, huh?
I do want to just call it the hypocrisy of the Sonic fan base once again, because I
No
talk
way.
about things that I
Here we
care
go.
about and be like, hey, I thought this was pretty cool, and hey, I think they should reincorporate this. Just get a bunch of like, let it go, just let it die. So, okay, you just stop wishing for Sonic Adventure 3, then I don't know what to tell you. Cosmo's not coming back. Smiley face. She's never
You can't
Smiley face.
unkill Cosmos.
The
Yeah.
key is to remember they're fucking children. We have to rise above it.
The
I
other
don't think they are. If you're wondering about that
if
era,
if
it's all-
they're not children, then they're just
children
fucking
mentality,
stupid.
not
they're just
not
fucking,
actual kids.
they're dumb, and you don't owe them a response or a justification.
I think,
don't know.
I think
I
it
don't know.
also
A lot
doesn't-
of- A lot of the stuff I've seen online has not come off as children, because I've seen what children on the internet sound like. You can kind of point it out really easily. This is adults.
Well,
I
if
think it's
you're
kind
an
of
adult and you're saying that kind of, then you do not deserve nice things.
See, there
Yeah,
we go. Good example of
obviously.
Japan. Stop asking for hypersonic. Never.
It's frustrating when you're, because the thing with like almost all fandoms is that people respond negatively quicker than they respond positively. So like
Yeah.
no matter what you throw out, the negatives are going to pile up faster than any positive reinforcement, no matter what the opinion is. And so at the end of the day, you
Oh, careful,
you only
Cyrus,
have
you
one
used
option.
reinforcement incorrectly.
I don't give a flying fuck. At the end of the day, you only have one thing to do, and that's just to say, fuck fandoms. Liking things is okay. Fuck fandoms.
I like
It is
the
weird.
part-
I do think that's an interesting, like, something to kind of actually pick apart sometimes. I do think it's fascinating. Like, sit back and make a joke about Mobius. Because we'll get into Sonic Season 2, Sonic Prime Season 2. And I knew what to expect in terms of, like, the responses. Just a lot of people being like, it was never Mobius. Smiley face. Like, I know that. But for a long time there, and we have confirmation from many sources that Sonic Team refused to call it any kind of planet. So it wasn't Earth for a long time, even there were spots where it said Earth. And I think that's interesting that they're slowly and subtly kind of reinforcing that this planet is called Earth. And I think there's like this
Without
strong...
specifically calling it.
Yeah, but like they specifically called it in Sonic Prime. And I just find it fascinating. And I do want to kind of like follow along with some of the people getting like really hot and bothered by it, because we'll have some people just going like it is the canon, like a legit religion kind of a thing.
The
and it's
sacred
weird.
timeline.
Behold
It's the
the
sacred
dogma of the Sonic fans.
But
We
also
have
like,
mass on Tuesdays.
but also like this Sonic is not the same Sonic as the games, and I refuse to believe that. Okay, but your giant corporate overlords are saying it's all canon, so pick your
Yeah.
lane.
It's at the end of the
Pick your
day. It doesn't matter what you accept.
Yeah.
You're not that. You as an individual are not that important to the people that are writing this shit.
At the end of the day, I just
I think
enjoy
it's interesting.
I just enjoy when he curls into a little ball, goes vroot, 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 and then shoosh. That's the good shit, you know. That's
Fun stuff.
Sonic, you know. Like that's what it's all about.
I agree. He does in fact do that and make those sounds.
Yeah. And he goes blip when he jumps.
He also goes.
And if I ever forgot that that's the sound that a Sonic character makes when jumping, Tails reminded me of it in Sonic Origins every quarter second.
Oh yeah, I love the Sonic 2 soundtrack. Blip, 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 blip,
Did they
blip,
fix that?
Pup, how does Sonic breathe underwater?
Oh,
You guys
We
want
need
to
to
spring
make
as
a-
well for good measure?
We need to make a pup sound pad to like mod into the Origins.
The Origins.
Yeah.
There was one more bit of
I'd
news.
download it.
I forgot we didn't put this on here, but
Okay.
Sega did trademark Sonic and Friends.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's quite a
Oh,
big
yeah.
deal as well. Yeah.
Yeah, there'll probably be like an alternate universe version of them that'll get brutally murdered for no freaking reason in a spin-off comic or something.
I hope what they have here is like they make
Actually,
like a
that is-
new.
that is way too obscure a reference for anybody to get. Never
I
mind.
just hope they'll.
Most of the
do-
Sonic fan base will just consider Super Mario Bros. Z, which is how that started.
Well, I hope they'll do like
Yeah.
an offshoot franchise where they focus a bit more on Sonic's friends and they have slightly altered designs like a scarf or maybe some tape on them or something, and that they'll just go ahead and see that through and it will last a very long time.
Oh man, that sounds like it would come in with a boom.
Way to just
It sounds
way,
like they
way
would
to
try
just
to
draw
come
a
in with
ring around the
it,
joke there, buddy.
and it more just comes in like a wet fart.
Well, you know what? It would be a ring because it would be circular. You know what wouldn't fly around it in a circular pattern? A bee.
Bees.
I quit.
I'm gonna go ahead and blame Pup for us not having rings as canon.
I was the first person to say ring should be canon.
Yeah, but they were like B theory. No, I don't think so. We're just gonna go ahead and say game. They're just a game mechanic and don't exist.
B theory's better. You all need to admit that's better. Like, just admit it.
There was one ring. We finally saw a ring, and it's not technically a ring in the latest IDW comic. You know those those pulley levers from Marble Garden?
Yeah.
They showed those off, and it's colored yellow, and it looks like a ring in the latest comic. Like
It's
that's
the
the
close-
closest we have gotten.
It's the closest ring we'll ever have.
But they're canon in Prime, so you know what? Fuck it, Fuck it.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. If
Only
Prime
in
is
the first
canon, then
episode.
those rings are canon.
Only in the first
It's
episode.
so weird.
It is
so weird.
It's I will say, like, as boring as most of Prime has been, it was interesting that the very first episode, that like before Battle, Sonic was like, "Hold on, gotta go get some rings." Like, what? But wait,
It's just
We'll
like
talk-
the
we'll talk
Flash
more
and his
about Prime.
calorie counter in the Flash movie and how that becomes irrelevant really quickly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Before we get into Prime, because that's going to be the main topic for the day, so we can get Gilly talking again. We want to talk about the thing he put into this here.
White
What?
collar crime.
white collar crimes.
Gilly, can you explain to us what that is in relation to?
I don't know what you mean. Everything is fine. All right. Well, okay. So he's not in jail though. He's not going to jail.
No, of course not.
Who are we talking about?
Of course
I know who we're talking about, but do they
Yuji Naka.
Eugene?
Nah, he's not going to
Naka.
face real consequences, of course.
Yeah, he's rich.
Well, he's on probation for 4 years.
Oh,
Yeah,
probation!
that's-
Oh, please! I could do like 10
Remember, you
probations
cost
with my
somebody
eyes
a-
closed.
cost somebody a couple $100, you might get jail for a few years, but cost somebody several $1,000s, and you might get on probation instead. White collar versus blue collar crimes.
Oh, the world's not fair. What a surprise.
Then let's work to make it more fair, you shit.
Come on with that.
Oh my god.
What did you expect from that? What did you expect?
Well, that is a sound clip if I've ever heard one. That is a sound clip if I've ever heard one. Go on with that. If we ever get a Sunset City soundboard, I want that on there.
Just Gilly screaming.
Oh my god.
That was a top moment.
I do have to say, nobody actually died or anything like that. Like all said in Love and War, just in terms of insider training, I don't think you're. If you don't have to put somebody behind bars,
Like
What's the one thing?
whose money did he lose? You know, like was it a corporate fat cat?
yeah, I think so.
Well, then it's okay. You know, like, he'll get over it.
I don't know. In my personal opinion, like if you're not actively hurting human beings, the punishment has to match what's happening there. And if it's money related, I think the best way to punish that is pay money.
I want to live in Nick's America where it's like you get robbed and it's like they catch the robbers. Like, okay, I'm going to come take some of your stuff then.
Well, it's not just robbed, because a lot of that would be involved. Like, this is why this is complicated, because
You
like
steal $5,000 from someone and they fine you $5,000.
well, I just mean just in terms of like
Well,
here's where it
plus
gets
damages.
complicated. There's no breaking and entering somebody's private property. There's no threat of violence. Like none of these other factors that you do have to consider. Like he's just being a sneaky boy.
I understand what you mean, Nick, because I saw like somebody on, of course, where else would it be but Twitter, where they were just like, oh, that vile human being, I hope he rots everything. Someone is like, buddy, calm the fuck down.
Yeah, it's insider trading, not murder.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it is one of those things where it's just like,
I mean, let's
yeah,
be
you
honest.
did a shitty thing, but like, how many other people with that kind of position wouldn't have done that?
Let's be honest. Nancy Pelosi isn't on probation.
There you go. Yeah.
The political podcast for the modern and classic age.
I'm just saying.
I mean, it'd be fun with Gillian Stewart.
I'm just saying. Maybe don't get that mad at the little Sonic man.
Yeah, there are bigger
Just because he made
balance.
Balance Wonderworld doesn't mean he's
Always be worse.
The little Sonic man.
Hey, Cyrus, what are you eating?
I'm not.
Well, who's eating it?
Kind of sounded like you had your mouth full for a second there.
Nope. I do have a drink though.
You have a drink? Okay. What are you drinking?
Diet Dr Pepper. You want some?
Ah, fuck you.
Boys.
On
Oh, we're
Tuesday.
gonna have interesting conversations.
No,
We're gonna have some
I
interesting- can't
do
wait to
agree with Nick to quite an extent. Like, I think there should be no jail time for people who commit tax evasion because it's not a real crime. That's not
There
me
you
saying
go.
I do it. I don't. What I do is tax avoidance. It's not the same
No,
thing.
no.
Hey, what I tell you, stop doing that.
Don't say that
Stop
on the
doing
air. God damn it.
You can say that, can't you?
No.
No,
Stop.
you can't.
Maybe not in America.
You're a dumb boy.
Oh my god. We love you.
Well,
we love
some
you.
of us that get paid from Sunset City happen to live in America, so I don't know.
Yeah, but you
But here's
guys, you guys are doing everything by the book. It's fine. I'm doing everything by the
Oh
book
my
as well.
god.
Full disclosure.
No.
Sometimes the mistake is
No.
making a big deal out of it.
Sometimes the mistake is continuing to talk about it.
Yeah, who did that? Who did that? You? Yeah, you couldn't just let me a one-off joke, could you? Anyways.
Sick. Like everyone's the tightest of buttholes right now.
Somebody just commented on my video and said, "Who's going to watch this? Over 1 hour." And I said, "Roughly 120,000 people. Hope this helps."
Jesus Christ.
Stupid idiots.
I remember I had somebody like bitch at me. They had like a 2-paragraph comment about like why would you make a like a 40+ minute video about Sonic 3 and Knuckles, a game that came out in '94? Like, it's not like going on this huge rant about it, and I just said because I fucking wanted to.
Money.
Yeah. I was like, just
Money.
don't
I
watch
like
it.
money.
Like, I don't know how to help you with that. Just if you don't want to watch it, just don't. Plenty of other people are.
You know what I do to people like that sometimes? I just comment, "Thank you for the engagement."
Yeah.
It's fascinating, and yeah, we've said it before, but yeah, spoilers, guys. YouTubers do get together and make fun of stupid comments behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, all the
That's
time.
what we do. That's what we do. At
Oh
convention.
yeah. Literally, if you say anything ridiculous in our comments or in person, we're probably all gonna get together and make fun of you.
And it's not. And it's gonna be over a giant. It's gonna be over a giant dinner, and it's gonna be the only thing everybody laughs about for 5 minutes.
It's either gonna be over a giant dinner or a giant box of wine,
Well,
true.
it's only
It
over
sounds
a
like
giant
a
box of
or,
wine.
or a giant bottle of vodka.
It's
I
only over a
don't
giant
know
box
what
of
you're
wine
talking about
when
at all.
Gilly is involved, and the vodka's only when Wayne is involved.
Listen, I learned things. I learned things that weekend. I know better now.
I learned never to let my roommate near alcohol around mixed company.
So, what were we saying? Oh yeah, Yuji Naka is
He's on probation for 4 years.
he's a naughty fella.
Maybe in that-
I did think it was
but-
important. I did think it was important to bring up because I mean,
Jailhouse
Gilly did
Doc?
drop it. Oh,
Wait, sorry.
You jail
What is the meaning? What is the meaning of insider trading?
It's when you're a stockbroker, what you're supposed to do is look at the market from the outside and then predict when a stock is going to rise or fall. Insider trading is when you take non-public information and you use that to determine whether or not you're going to buy a stock. So, for instance, if
It
know,
shouldn't be illegal. It's ridiculous.
That
it's illegal,
sounds
but go
like
on.
something that should be legal.
I mean,
that just sounds
it's-
strategic.
it
Yeah.
sounds like that could potentially be. I could see the potential pitfalls in that.
so
To be
for instance, if somebody, if the general public does not know that your firm is about to patent an item that is about to make you a fuck ton of money, it's a thing that people have been asking for 10 years. Insert whatever like miracle invention you can think of right now. The public doesn't know about that because otherwise a bunch of people would be scrambling for the patents, but you know about it because a friend of a friend told you, or however you got that information, and so you invest several $1,000s in the stock of this company that's about to do this patent. Then a couple weeks later they do the patent, then their stock prices fire up 500%, and then you liquidate your stock. You've done insider trading at that point.
But you basically it's such a weird law because it's like it's based on no, but not if you know.
Also, like, there's a lot of people that are just hating Yuji Naka because he's a criminal based on this and stuff. But it's also just like, okay, when did it become cool to hate criminals? Secondly, fucking half of you don't know what this fucking shit is because I sure as hell didn't until now. And thirdly, if you're gonna hate Yuji Naka about anything, hate him about his shitty treatment of devs in the past or whatever the fuck. I don't
That
know.
is why they hate him, and that's why they feel, regardless of anything else, he deserves this. Because yeah, I think you're right. I do think a lot of folks don't actually know what insider trading is or why he's in trouble with anything. It is mostly because of the drama they've heard about him behind the scenes. And yeah, it sounds like he's been a bit of a dick, but people just look for a reason to hate. It's just like what Cyrus was talking about earlier. Some people just look for reasons. You're going to actively find more people looking for a fight than they are looking to agree or learn something.
And yeah, and I think a lot of it is just like I don't want to apologize for him, but just kind of speaking on what I've seen and what I've read, a
Sorry
lot of
for Yuji Naka.
what's happened was like alleged, and I don't know how much hard evidence we have of like certain things. And I think enough things have come up where it's just kind of like, yeah, no, he probably was a dick behind the scenes, and personally I do believe those things. It's just you got to be careful about accusations like that. But something like this kind of adds a sort of legal legitimacy to hate him.
Yeah, just looking for a reason for him to get in trouble as opposed to actually understanding why he's in trouble.
Yep.
May
A
he
lot of
rot
times
in
people-
jail.
It's interesting though, because a lot of people do that post hoc application of whatever bad thing a person has done recently, regardless of scale, and then it's very, very rare that anybody sits down and goes, okay, but what's the real reason why you're angry? It sounds very like armchair therapy when you do that, but it's kind of a necessary step, because sometimes you're like, you're not really mad about the insider trading. You're not. That's not a thing you give a shit about.
No, because
you're on Twitter,
everybody
so
would
you
do
have
it.
to.
Everybody would do it. If they knew they weren't going to get caught, everybody would do it.
Totally.
I think that's why it's a law, though.
I mean, yeah,
think
everybody
No, I
would
know, but
steal
also,
if they knew they weren't
that's
gonna
like
get caught.
also, but like, don't chastise someone for like.
Oh yeah, I agree. I'm 100%.
Yeah, don't
with you
be
there.
the little
I'm
yeah,
schoolyard
I think
bitch,
there's
you know.
definitely
Don't
some
be the little
hypocrisy there.
tattletale little fucking moog.
Don't be the
not.
person that points to Yuji Naka. I think he knew things he wasn't supposed to know.
I just remember my least favorite part. My least favorite thing about fucking Spider-Man PS4 is when you do the drug bust missions and Spider-Man's like, no crimes I hate more than drug deals. Like, well, what about fucking murder? what about that, you know?
That feels very 90s PSA, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it arguably is murder.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so's eating a
It-
McDonald's when you think about it, you know?
No,
I
I don't
don't
think.
think I would-
I don't think.
So I'm gonna be honest, Pub. I don't think I could put a Big Mac on the same level as crack rock cocaine.
You know what? Let's.
I'm gonna go ahead and push back a little bit.
We
I
have an
don't-
obesity
I don't-
epidemic and not a
but
crack
okay,
epidemic. Which
okay.
one do you think it's doing?
I mean, the
don't- they
statistics
serve
don't lie, do
don't
they?
serve
you know?
fentanyl at McDonald's. I don't think fentanyl's on the
Maybe
dollar
they
menu.
should. Maybe they fucking should.
I can think of a few McDonald's where it actually probably is. I don't think you understand, Gilly. I live in Atlanta.
Listen,
I lived in Muscatine, Iowa, and I can tell you more than a couple of fast food places were closed down for that particular reason. So
I, much like
Don't tell me it's not on the menu and I can order it.
we called it methadone for a reason.
I, much like IDW Sonic, believe in people's freedoms. I think we should all be able to do drugs and insider trading if we want. Just no murder.
You can have a little bit of insider trading as a treat.
Yeah, a little
I
bit of
like-
insider
I like
trading
that.
is allowed. Just
we should trade drugs on the inside.
a tasteful
I like
amount,
that
you know?
I like that we should be talking about taxes, but drug trade. That's fine.
Yeah, it's
Well, yeah,
almost
because this
like
one's
that
funny.
fucking passive joke I made about a perfectly legal thing just got dragged out of the mud, you know?
Because we're all terrified. We're
It's,
all
uh,
terrified.
Well, you
We're all
guys want to
scared for
fucking
you.
guys want to fucking live in fear. I'm going out mask off, you know. Fucking, I'm gonna go cough all over people.
You're on
you know
your
how
own
it is?
channel.
Man,
You're on your own channel.
I
This is
wasn't
my
aware
own
that
channel
Sunset
at this
City-
point.
God, we're gonna lose our
Forever.
third member already. This is so weird.
Sake.
Who are you people?
Oh, no.
I don't even know who you are.
All right. So that's Yuji Naka cover.
I think you know
Jesus
what. I
Christ.
think the key appeal. I think the key appeal of this is just
Key and Peele.
this is how we shut up. This is how we'll do these topics. You know, it's like okay. So now we're going. Now we're going to
Awkwardly.
discuss Yuji Naka's insider trading, white noise, and that was the insider trading.
I think I definitely prefer the 20 minutes of just riffing on each other. I'll take that.
I'm gonna put it on this. I really don't know if any particular punishment would have changed any of my opinions on any of this. And already, like, I could tell you, like, it's fun to make the jokes on occasion. I think it's funny, but outside of that, like, doesn't really change my opinion on the guy one way or the other. And I don't know him personally. I love a lot of the games that he helped program. Just hate a lot of other games. Well, no, just a couple other games that he put together.
I think he's fucking
sounds like
hilarious.
he's really good at his. Sounds like he was good at his job. Also, sounds like he was tough to work with. That's whatever.
I think he's
The
fucking
reality of it
hilarious.
is- the
Like,
reality of it is, he just has probation for 4 years. 4 years. Everybody's going to forget about it in a couple weeks, and everything business is going to run as usual.
I
Yep.
fucking love
And
Yuji
then he's gonna
Naka.
get a
Like,
bunch of emails.
fucking scribbling Naoto Oshima out of the pictures went hard. I don't fucking care. I like Naoto Oshima as well, but I fucking love Yuji Naka for that because that was fucking hilarious.
I think it's going to be
So much more
hilarious
interesting
that
story to me, but yeah.
during
I
this
think
entire
it's-
thing.
I think it's hilarious that a grown ass man would do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
what's
do
funny
too.
about it.
Yeah.
But it just goes so hard, you know? Like, it's badass.
Does it?
You're so
I
badass,
don't-
Yuji, you know?
I think it's really it's funny looking at it from the outside, but it's funny because
You're really overanalyzing this. You're
Well,
overanalyzing
it's
what
lit-
I'm saying
it's-
here.
It's Trump energy.
It's fucking funny.
just watching a flailing child. I'm gonna get probation for 4 years for this.
Yeah.
So
Crime is good, right? Anyways.
it's the best. It's the best.
There's always a bunch of police around when you don't need them.
God, what a fantastic
I'm just
quote from a
we
fantastic game.
everybody just all right, yeah.
That's just a Sonic Adventure 2 quote, Wayne. What do you want from me?
Is that really?
Yeah, that is.
Yes!
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Sonic the Macro.
Yeah, no,
Wait, you don't.
it's from Sonic Adventure 2 when, like, the police are surrounding him and Sonic's already a wanted man because of what Shadow did and shit. And he's just like,
Yeah.
too many police around when you just don't need them. And it's just like, that's amazing.
And then he walks away, and Amy just sits there as cop lights get brighter and brighter. Like, what? Wait for me.
Perfect
Hashtag
game for
based.
today.
Or
Like,
am I mixing up generational slang there? Who can? I can't tell anymore. It's
Wayne,
like
go
youth.
replay Sonic Adventure 2.
Don't want to.
come on,
That-
dude,
I
it's
want
fun.
to.
I want
I'll,
to.
I'll
Thank you.
replay. I'll replay Sonic Adventure
I'll
2.
do it too.
I actively dislike most of that game.
I love that game.
Yeah,
I love that
same.
game so
It-
much.
I think it is okay.
You hate Ultimate Spider-Man, Wayne.
I think it's
Yeah,
got a
I
really
do.
strong opening and ending, and brought in a real cool character.
We should
Don't
do
wanna do any more
Sunset
traditional.
Arcade where I play Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah,
I'm
you should.
game. Let's
Yeah,
fucking
put
do
you on a
it.
Sunset Arcade for a second, because Fortnite's for wimps. Has the best aiming mechanics in a long time.
Wait,
Not-
Sonic Adventure 2 has the best aiming mechanics in a long time?
No,
Because there were none.
Fortnite.
Oh yeah, no, the best aiming
Fortnite.
mechanics are the ones where you don't
Oh.
get to play as her. That's my favorite.
Yep.
Why
Yeah,
would I
mine
want to
too.
be a woman, you know? Like, come on.
Yeah, right.
Yes, Suris, why would you want to be a woman? God.
Jesus Christ. Turns out VTubing is just taking antihistamines.
Okay,
I-
so that aside.
I've never heard that before, and I hate it.
Okay, look, boys, gentlemen. We have one last topic.
How many
Do we?
other things do you think we're gonna get just ripped off the internet for today? How many other things?
We have one
For
last
God's sakes.
topic here, and it's a big one.
We
It's-
don't, pup. This one you're gonna have to take the lead on.
What?
But
Why?
there is another thing we have not put in there because this is something you're interested in.
Okay.
We got
Is that
we got a
Sonic game?
video
'Cause I'm
from a
interested
panel.
in that.
You're the one that posted this.
I
But
did?
there was a panel that had the voice actors for Sonic, and they talked a little bit about the voice direction for Frontiers.
Yeah, there was some fairly interesting stuff in there.
Do you want to kind of give us some highlights here? Because I didn't watch the whole thing.
Nah, I'm just gonna leave. There was some interesting stuff. No, I
All
watched
right.
it, and there's not that much to really discuss, but it was interesting kind of getting the perspectives from, like, Roger Craig Smith and Colleen O'Shaughnessy and Mike Pollock on, like, the voice direction for this game and their voice director. Like, Roger was at one point saying, like, oh yeah, he goes in and they're like, okay, we need to talk through what Sonic sounds like, and Roger just goes in with his default high-pitched Sonic voice, like, yeah, I know what Sonic sounds like, kind of stuff. And then the guy's like, nope, not this time, according to him. And he
Yeah.
keeps telling him to go lower, and he's like gradually going lower, and then he eventually goes, yeah, that's perfect. And Roger's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So there was some skepticism from the sound of things. From
I like his story. Like his story starts off like the way he was talking about it, and like the voice director. They all sound so tired. Just to go by his story, they all sound so fucking tired.
yeah, like they were saying that the voice director really does sound like that. You need to go lower.
Guys, be right back. Be right back.
All right.
And like Colleen O'Shaughnessy's direction was very much, you know, you're playing this a bit more mature, still a child, but more mature. And then, yeah, Eggman. Like, I mean, you listen to Mike Pollock's regular voice, and it really isn't too dissimilar from Robotnik's voice in Sonic Frontiers. Like, they've all dialed it back. And then obviously, you know, they had the actress who played Sage as well, who didn't really have much to say on that front because it's her first time in the franchise anyways. Sorry, go on.
I started to interrupt you, but like there was something because like I've been very like whatever about Sage, but like it did warm my heart like hearing her talk about it. Like
She's
how
so excited.
happy she was, so excited to be in the Sonic franchise and like doing it for her dad, and it made me smile. It did make me like the character a bit more. It's always nice when like the talent behind this stuff actually cares, because Caddy told us something interesting about Crush 40 at TMG.
Yep.
I don't find this surprising, to be perfectly honest.
Anyone want to
Most
type
of-
that
yeah.
into the back rooms for me? I want to see that.
I don't know if that's our story to tell.
I will. I'll also say just like
Okay, so
the-
everyone
the voice
around
actress-
the table knows but me. Fair enough. Okay.
the voice actress for Sage.
I told you. I think I said it on the fucking podcast. Whatever. We'll talk about it later.
Again, it's
I-
very unsurprising.
Yeah.
I will say that I'm super glad as a fan of Eva that the voice actress for Sage is also the voice actress for Ray, because they're the same character.
Who's Ray?
Rei Ayanami from Evangelion. She's the clone that learned
Oh,
how to be
shit,
human
is she
through
really?
Evangelion.
Oh, I
Yes.
hated that Star
I did
Wars
not know
movie.
that was the same. Okay.
It's the same voice actress.
Well,
That's a good pick. For
I mean,
that
there was-
reason.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
just to kinda-
it's- Sorry.
Kind of hover around the point about Crush 40, and I don't think this is like an actual mystery if you actually do any kind of digging, but like a lot, because Pollock was saying this in that panel where it's just like it's mostly just a job. Like they don't actually engage with the content.
Oh
not
yeah, that
usually.
didn't surprise me at all. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that actually brings me to a next point as well. Was when they went around the table asking Colleen, Roger, Mike, and I think her name was Ryan. When they asked them what their favorite Sonic songs are, and Mike Pollock said "Eggman" from Sonic Adventure 2, so he knows his shit. Ryan says "Dear Father" from Sonic Frontiers, her song and everything.
Ooh.
So like, yeah, that's a nice little wholesome response there. Roger says hesitantly "Green Hill Zone," and then Colleen says the Sega jingle, and it's like the villains know their shit when it comes to the Sonic music.
And
at
the
least.
heroes have no idea.
Yeah, and then Roger later chimed in and said, "Oh, there's one by Crush 40 I like that goes." So it was just like any of them.
I love that one.
I do feel bad for them because you know they're just trying to do their job. Like they got in. A lot of these folks just got into it because there's a passion for acting and for voice acting, and they came across just long-standing jobs. And Pollock has never been dishonest about that on Twitter, where he's been talking about like job's a job, and you I mean, this is all contractual work most of the time. So if you find something that can stick for a long time, you're probably going to stick with it.
Yeah.
And all these guys have landed on something that is, it's a long-standing franchise. There's a fan base behind these characters and these voices, even if there are detractors or there's like other favorites or anything like that. Fact of the matter is that they keep getting work for a reason. So
One thing,
I get that, and it is just a nice extra when we got someone like Sage's voice. What's her name again?
Ryan Bartley, I think.
Okay, but
Ryan Bartley.
Yeah, I mean, it does warm the cockles of my cold dead heart when there's a bit of a relation there. Like, oh hey, the fans are making stuff for fans, and that's something I've been championing for a bit. That's why I hate it when I see so much hate for artists or writers or other folks or programmers in the case of Mania and Origins getting a chance to get to the other side and help expand the content in the ways they have.
The
So,
biggest fan
anyway,
of
I'm
a work is
rambling.
rarely the creator or someone that's involved in it. Like, for them,
Sure.
it's work. It's like, I don't think, Nick over here is the biggest game apologist fan in the world, and I don't think, I'm the biggest pop fan in the world, or Wayne is the... I mean, actually, no, Wayne, like, statistically speaking, you're probably your own biggest fan there, but, like,
Wow.
the creator is rarely the biggest fan, all jokes aside. Another thing, though, that I found quite... what's the opposite of disheartening? Heartening, I guess.
Heartening?
Okay, sure, that is that simple. Is that the cast look back so fondly on Sonic Boom, because like I love Sonic Boom, biggest Boom fan in the world, like it just made me happy hearing that, like, when they talk about their fondest memories working on this franchise, It was usually when it came to Sonic Boom, and that was partly because they were all in the studio together, doing their recordings together, but also because they were allowed a lot of improv space as well. And yeah, you can tell there's a Sonic Boom gag where they literally just left in Roger Craig Smith's vocal warm-ups for no reason, and yeah, it's just kind of funny.
Well, that definitely did seem like one project where the cast was really given more opportunity to be a personal part of it.
Yeah.
And it's so much of their own identity is in that. So that makes sense to me.
No.
All that said, I do love the toned down performances from Frontiers, and I'm hoping that, they'll do more with that kind of tone, I guess. Not everything has to be, running through graveyards, putting lost souls to peace, but hoping that they'll do some more high-stakes, serious stuff with the dial-back voices as well.
I definitely
more total
prefer-
balance. Yeah.
I like the tone in Frontiers for Frontiers because of the type of story that it is, but I think having everybody's tones more upbeat like we had in, say, Unleashed and Adventure 1 and 2, while still having that kind of dire high-stakes story works even better for me. I still love the direction of Frontiers, but I think I agree with Nick on having a little bit of balance there in future would be really good.
Sorry, go ahead, Wayne.
I was just gonna say it's I like the tone in Frontiers, and I think that the direction for the voices kind of worked for that. My issue is that if you're gonna do that tone, have a narrative payoff for having that tone to begin with, and I just don't think that game did.
I think they could have definitely done better with that. But I guess I'm not trying to talk too much about story here. I like the dialed back performances. I have a friend who's very, very casual when it comes to Sonic, and he just booted up the game the first time. I was like, oh my god, Sonic doesn't sound like an annoying little shit. Perfect. And I was like, yeah, he sounds like a person this time. It's kind of awesome.
I've said it before on this, but I think that that dour tone, there are some franchises, there are some stories that do require being in that space for good reason. I just started playing Shadow Man yesterday, for instance, and that has a heavy anxiety fueled atmosphere from start to finish, because
I love the atmosphere of that game so much.
It's really cool, but it's an oppressive. It's about death. It's about dark stuff, so that makes sense. Sonic, to me, can exist in those spaces, but like I've said before, I think this is why Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Adventure, and Adventure 2 work for me. I got issues with dialogue and localization, stuff like that hasn't aged super well, but I do think having that wide gamut of emotions and tone work for those characters, because they are silly animal people at the end of the day. And I think those tones near the end of the game, that helps with the payoff. I think that having the lighthearted tone and just all those different characters working together, instead of all of them being down and frumpy, you got Sonic being cheerful and carefree, and you got Shadow burdened with the past and hateful. I don't know, man. I think you need those moments, but not the entire game. And that's what I'm still worried about with Frontiers, where the lessons learned might just be, maybe we just need to be dour all the time. And I'm hoping that's not the case. Superstars doesn't look like that's going to be the case, but I'm hoping they don't be okay.
Classic game. They wouldn't dare touch any kind of tone that isn't happy joy with a 10-foot pole when it comes to classic Sonic.
Well, that's what I'm getting at, though. That's what I'm worried about, is classic Sonic can only be this, and now modern Sonic can only be this, as opposed to letting them. I don't want them mixing matching shitty 2D gameplay with 3D Sonic, but
a variance
I would like them
in
to
tone
be able
is just a fine thing to have in a movie and a game or whatever. It doesn't always have to be completely dour. I think, there's a time and a place for dour moments, but if you have dour moments in an otherwise fairly upbeat story, it can be more meaningful. I think Frontiers' story does it fine. I just, like Wayne, I think the payoff could be a lot better. Fingers crossed that maybe Update 3 will fix that, but yeah, as it stands now.
I'm tired of trying to fix this game, though. I'd like them just to move on to another game, honestly.
Somebody traded in Frontiers the other day, and and I said, "Oh man, I had a good time with this game. I can't wait until it's finished."
We can have this
I-
conversation a million times over, all right?
We will.
They're doing things, and I'm intrigued by it. I'm waiting to see what comes out. Like,
Oh, I am too. It's just not finished.
yeah,
We'll
yeah.
continue to have this conversation. Update 3 is down the road, so we'll.
I will say, as far as where the game is at right now, though, I enjoyed Update 1 enough to play for like another 30 minutes or so, but I've actually really been enjoying Update 2 a lot. Traversal feels so much better right now, and having the active challenges to run around and do, they're not much, but it's added a decent chunk of gameplay for me to earn the spin dash that I've actually enjoyed. I'm not gonna lie.
It was one of those
I'm
things
gonna
as well
find
where
it too, yeah.
when they had like that first preview and it said like New Game Plus has been added, I was like, well, that's a bare minimum. But like now with like the spin dash and all these new things, I'm like, you know what? Let's boot up New Game Plus. I would love to play through this game.
Yeah, because
again.
now there's.
I thought that was
now there's
brilliant.
Now there's stuff that you can earn in your first run that cannot be gotten at the baseline that you can bring into the second run that actually makes your playthrough feel different.
yeah, and
It's
like
a simple, obvious,
navigating-
but effective choice for like post game updates. Is like give people who've played this game another reason to go back through from the beginning.
Yeah, and like navigating Chaos Island is going to be very interesting now with the spin dash because you can leap to like completely different patches of land, and some people call that broken, but I'm fine with that. Like, do you want to take the
Sonic's
risk?
always had that.
Yeah,
though,
it's like, do
and
you
I
want
love
to-
that we have it now.
Do you want to take the risk on using, you know, a big momentum-based skill, or do you want to just do this safe play platforming section?
So-
That's always been a part of Sonic level design philosophy.
It's like Sonic Adventure 1.
Yeah, it's the spin dash
Literally.
jump.
Yeah,
It's literally the spin dash jump.
it's good.
I
to
do
have it
think
back.
there's something to be said. I think there is still something to be said about like, polish your game. Like, make sure it's an intentional choice versus, we just threw a thing in here haphazardly and then players figure it out for themselves. I understand the loosey goosey fun of that, but I still would like a bit of a balance there. But like, yeah, gun to my head, like if I have a choice between the two, I much prefer like how they implement the spin dash. We've talked about this before it was implemented. Like, the game's already here, the map's already here, and I already don't think that they really programmed Sonic very well for this map. That's why most level design's above it in the air. But like, they make you unlock it, they make you work for it, and it really is kind of, ironically enough, the new Super Sonic, where it's like, here's something you can unlock that will break the game, but hey, who cares at this point? Go have fun. I like that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I
it's. I don't want the spin dash to be an unlockable in future games because it feels wrong. Like, it feels like a corruption on what I like about this franchise for something that integral to Sonic's moveset to be an unlockable thing. But in this particular game, because of how it feels when you're playing without the spin dash, I'm okay with it. Especially the fact that in the cyberspace stages you get the spin dash drift. That just it can make those runs feel way better. I'm hoping
I still don't understand why you
hoping-
can't just turn in cyberspace.
There's a lot of things about the level design in cyberspace I'm not, or the idea behind how those levels work that I'm not big on. But I will say that with the added power that we have from the spin dash now to just blitz through those levels, I am hoping that in update 3 we're going to get a much tighter version of the cyberspace challenges where they actually, because like everybody knows, 1-2 is a lot harder to S rank than most of the other levels, and that's without the spin dash. The spin dash trivializes 1-2.
I don't think it does because it requires a lot of control over the spin dash. You know, the spin
It
dash is
does,
a lot
but
more unwieldy than the boost.
It's like taking it from hard mode to medium mode, though. Like it is making that level, because there's a lot of straightaways in that level. It is making
also,
that level much easier to go through.
I don't want to glorify 1-2 and I don't want to dismiss it, but you just take the lower path and you S rank it. It's fucking easy.
But what I'm saying is, because we have this new tool that makes it to where we can get even faster times on these levels, having some type of challenge to make us get the let us get those fast times on those levels and earn something for it, even if it's just a little emblem that's like, hey, you got super S rank or
Well,
something.
they put the
like-
asterisk next to your time.
Still.
And you can collect them all as well. Like you could do like a magnet dash, you could do a spin dash, and you could do some other things and get all 4 colors. It's
Amazing.
stupid, but it's cute. Like
I can't speak too much on it because I haven't played the updates yet. I don't know. 1-2 is a fascinating thing to me. I do think that's the kind of challenge a lot of folks would like from little short bursts of linear Sonic gameplay. I thought it was genius on that front. I still hate how cyberspace controls. I fucking hate it. But and again, like my problem with cyberspace is like the lack of consistency between that kind of challenge versus the rest of the game and the placement of it so early on in the game, literally in the middle of a tutorial. I think that's just the stupidest place to put that kind of a challenge.
I am curious. So you haven't played Update 2 then, right?
Right.
So cyberspace feels much, even without the spin dash, cyberspace feels better in Update 2 because you have the momentum for the jump translates into the cyberspace levels.
yeah, you can ditch the jump deceleration.
Yeah, you can ditch
and-
the jump arc.
Yeah, I
This
have...
is why I didn't want to do a Frontiers video. This is why I didn't want to do it because I knew at this point I would start getting comments of like, "Oh, that doesn't matter anymore." It drives me fucking crazy.
Well,
But,
it certainly mattered when the game came out. We all played the game when it came out. Like
Yeah.
our experience was colored by that. I'm not saying that you're wrong for not liking the cyberspace levels. I still don't like them. What I'm saying is
I like the idea behind them.
Can I
I'll
be
say
honest?
that.
Yeah.
I kind of
Yeah.
fucking love them now. Like, I sent you guys the bit of gameplay that I did in both, like, Sky
Yeah.
Sanctuary and the Green Hill stage. And having a spin dash that can just activate as soon as I land on a platform and then propel me massive distances and stuff like that, as well as having jump momentum now, I was just like, this is it. This is fucking it. There's only one
I'm gonna
thing.
be honest.
There's only one thing I need him to do here, and that's make loop-de-loops like matter. Seriously, I'm still pressed about that.
I
Well,
will
here's-
say,
here's-
even if they fix the controls and everything for cyberspace, I still have an issue with how they were created.
Oh yeah, and I still have issue
Sure,
with
yeah,
them being
sure.
recycled levels, but I'm like, okay, I was playing the Sky Sanctuary stage that was lifted from Generations, and I was like, I like how he feels here better than I liked in Generations now. I'm like, wow, okay, so cyberspace has now beaten the modern stages in Generations for me at this point, because we now have a Sonic that just feels much more...
He feels right
flowy.
now.
He feels
He
flowy.
Well,
right.
here's what I was trying to get at though. Like,
Yeah.
like I have very much like my opinions kind of settled in stone in terms of what this game was at launch. What I'm curious about now, because these updates are happening, whatever critique I have about them, one way or the other, I do think there's going to be stuff in there like baked into the bones of the game that you can't really try and tweak too much at this point. What I'm curious about is if these updates are showing me, okay, they're learning the right lessons, and when the next game comes around, if they're going to continue this particular formula, because it is, I think it's a really good formula, wide open world with smaller chunks of the boost stuff. I'm just curious to see if like we're going to nail this formula properly next time around in terms of like, I would like to see like, hey, spin dash is fun. Okay, let's design the world a little bit more around that. Let's design the challenges a little bit more around how he moves. I really want a Sonic that doesn't require me to tweak stupid things in the options. Just
I
little,
like the
how
sliders
fast
because
I like the
I hate the sliders. I
Sonic,
hate the
the
sliders.
thing with Sonic is it means different things to a lot of different people. Some people prefer that instant gratification of the speed. Some people prefer more gradual build up, etc., etc. So having sliders there allows people to just make Sonic the way they want him to feel. You know,
I think that's bullshit. I think that's total bullshit. I think
you're
that
the
is
only one, man.
why I don't think so.
No, I didn't fuck with the sliders because
I thought
I think it's a half measure for not getting the controls down right.
I'm gonna give a small bit of something that happened with the Wii. As much as everybody loved that console when it came out, the Wii was never that great at first-person shooter controls when it came out. The closest we had was like
brave
Prime
statement.
3. But later on in the Wii's life cycle, we did get a game that was published by Sega called Conduit. And Conduit did the same thing that Frontiers did, where it said, okay, obviously we as the developers can't get this perfect, not for, a control scheme that's supposed to work for both single player and multiplayer, blah, 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 blah. So they gave you the same type of slider controls where everything was infinitely tweakable. And that made that game. The second one just kind of came way too late into the Wii's life cycle, but that game got an entire online community built around it because it was so easy to tune that game to what you loved. I think that because that's been my experience with things that have trouble with control and developers going, here is our solution, let's give you a customizable pack. I think that works well enough for Frontiers. I think the compromise for me would be making Sonic's default, like giving him a good default that everybody can run with, that has momentum, that has the stuff that we can get now with the current sliders. Give us a really good default and then have the sliders as an added bonus instead of having a default with set jump arcs and no momentum when you do most of your things. Whenever you lift off the ground, suddenly Sonic is locked to a single set of frame data. Don't have that as our default. Have a good, comfortable momentum set as our default. Then just give us the sliders on top of that. I think that's reasonable. Then
I can agree with that.
I'm sorry, sirs. What kind of game are you talking about? Like, what type of game is it?
It was a first-person shooter. That's why I said a shooter on the Wii.
Okay, so that's not a platformer.
I am well aware of that, Nick. I've played both games, yes.
I like the sliders at White House.
I think for God's sakes, I do think that a lot of the level design comes down to I don't know the development of this game.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that it's possibly the way it is because they didn't really land exactly where they wanted to go with Sonic's design. Like, it shows just shows a lack of confidence, in my opinion. I think that's why they're like tweaking stuff as much as they are still with the physics in these updates, because they're going more off of feedback than like an actual vision. And again, like, they made a fun game, don't get me wrong, but like I found a lot of redundancies with those.
It is very
fighters.
strange. It is very strange.
I think there are certain elements that sorry, go on, Wayne.
My issue, have you guys played Destiny?
No, I have not.
Okay. Destiny being a first-person shooter, but it's also like trying to capture the mentalities of like a fantasy game, just as a sci-fi like FPS. It has tried to incorporate a lot of platforming into its mechanics, but it has to accommodate like 3 different classes of character builds that all move wildly differently, and so in turn the level design itself ends up being really dull because you can't do anything interesting with it because it has to be done by every single possible kind of build. I think he's run into the same problem if you're doing sliders for Sonic's movement speed. It's one thing if you're doing like somebody's physical actual arm moving around to control the camera in a first-person shooter. Yeah, you have to have sliders because literally some people just can't move their arm that way, and the comfort level and the accommodations for it are completely different than what you should be aiming for a platformer. Precision and being able to design a level to the exact specifications of how a character can move and what they're capable of, I think will lead to much better and much more memorable, level design than just the open sandboxes that we saw of Sonic Frontiers, which, again, to parrot you, Nick, they had to use the crutch of just putting the actual level design in the sky above all of it because you can't do anything dedicated.
And that's ultimately like, and I'm going to keep pushing back on the rails. And again, like, I am very curious to see what they're toying with these updates, because again, like, I want to see what they're learning and I want to see what they make after this game is finally done. But my ultimate issue with the open world with Sonic Frontiers is like most of it's not open world. Like, it's not even proper level design most of the time.
It's still more of a collection of levels in the sky, right?
It's not even that. It's not even that. Most of it, like, this is why the 2D sections for Chaos Island got so much heat, but most of that shit is just rails. Like you're not even moving anywhere. Like that's why like we can't decide what he's gonna do. That's why it feels weird and stiff in at least the original versions of the
controls.
I almost call it a chemical plant. Like that's one of the levels, but like cyberspace. But also just like when you're getting the memory tokens, like most of it is just like watch them roll around on rails, and that like I would like that if that's not the promise of an open world Sonic to me. I would like to see them get a little bit more courageous next time around because they definitely are going to go back to this open design.
Can I throw an idea at you then, Nick, for fun?
Sure.
So you know how we have the black rails and white rails in Frontiers. White rails are fast travel. Black rails are level design shenanigans.
Right.
Insofar as we can call it level design. So what if we just had the world as it is with the platforming challenges and all that fun stuff, but no black rails. We just have the white rails as our fast travel mechanic, but there's not a single black rail in sight. If you want to traverse the world, you have to use platforming.
I don't think it was. I didn't mind a lot of the stuff up in the sky. I just didn't want that to be like the primary thing you're doing there.
We've moved away from this quite a bit, but I do have another kind of argument in favor of sliders if anyone's interested.
Sure.
Yeah,
why not?
Okay, so I think Sonic has had a bit of an uphill battle with accessibility beyond the Sonic fan base in that you see a non-Sonic fan pick up a controller and you'd think they don't even know what left and right is, basically. And
I've seen it happen a few times.
I've seen it happen a few times. I remember, like, with my sister, she only got past, like, the first couple of levels of Sonic Colors before writing it off as uncontrollable. And I got a lot of, like, you know, friends and family that, yeah, they just don't stick with Sonic games because they're not willing to get to that point of learning to control it, basically. And I know that Sega has wanted to quell that. It's why they simplified things as much as they did with Sonic Forces. And I suppose something I would be a bit worried about would be, okay, they just commit to constantly simplifying it, making it more accessible. I am absolutely okay with it if they decide, okay, we want to make just that base gameplay thing as accessible as possible, but we would like to include slider options for Sonic veterans to get Sonic to feel authentic to the Momentum Sonic experience, or go extra fast or something like that. Like when my sister plays Frontiers, she's got the boost turned all the way down to the bottom, and, you know, like the bottom speed, basically, because just enjoys traversing that world, and is just like, yeah, I can play a Sonic game like it's a proper little game, as opposed to just going fast all the time. And I think for Sonic fans, and I know there's going to be some people scoffing at this in the chat, and if you're scoffing at my sister, you can fuck right off, but we're looking at this from perspective of people that play these games religiously, you know? Anyone here is a Sonic fan, you know? And I think, you know, if it's Sega wants these
I'm not.
games...
I'm not.
You know?
I'm not at all.
Okay. All right,
No.
cool. Sega wants these games to be accessible. It's how Forces happened. And, like, the idea of Sonic just being this overly simplified, super controllable, sluggish little man where you just press a button and he goes is fucking dystopian to me, but I see sliders as a compromise. The other idea I would have, though, is there are certain platforming challenges in the new Coco update which require you to build speed on a ramp to get to another side, basically. And you can kind of cheese that by having your boost acceleration, like, at top speed. So basically, top speed, touch of a button, you can kind of cheese that. And I don't think that should be possible. And you can also render the spin dash a little redundant if you just have your boost completely maxed out instant top speed. I feel like that's something that should maybe be earned. Maybe there's a skill tree thing where it's like, okay, here's where you can set your sliders. You've gained a slider upgrade. You can slide it up a little more now or something, you know? But, like, yeah, I think the way they've got the sliders set up isn't perfect. But I think having those options there for stupid people to play a Sonic game like it's Banjo-Kazooie is a fair trade.
God,
I
felt personally insulted by that.
I still think if you're trying to placate to literally everybody, you're creating a lesser product.
But that's Sonic. He's a corporate mascot. He's not an art piece.
I'm not. All right, I need to jump in. So you're inherently going to have an issue already from this being what it is, an open 3D game. is going to be a challenge for a lot of folks. Like just picking up a modern standard controller is already kind of a headache for folks. Like having a 3D character and also moving the camera at the same time, that is something I've heard being an issue for a lot of people all of the time. You're inherently going to have that challenge. And I think the response to that, if they're looking for a simple Sonic time, is you look for the 2D games. Like they've been around since the 90s. People understand what that is. They're pretty straightforward. I will say if any 3D platforming character can get away with sliders, it's probably Sonic, because you are required to be a little bit more loosey-goosey, go at high speeds, and hit things and just repeat the same stuff over and over again until you like master the levels and the mechanics and stuff like that. I would say that simply having sliders there at all is going to overwhelm new people one way or the other.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's
too
why
many options.
That's why they had like action style and high speed style as well at the start. But like,
sure, absolutely.
That's also why I was saying that like giving Sonic a better, comfortable default that you can play as your main version of Sonic, and then having the sliders so that whatever version of Sonic, whatever way the game feels when you play it feels right. And then if you're like, what if I push it a little further? What if you're that type of player? That way the type of player you're talking about can have a good experience that is representative of what makes this game fun to play. And then the latter type of player can have something as well.
I suppose I
think there's something.
Sorry.
Yeah, but like 3D Mario, for example, something that they've been learning through the years, I guess 2D Mario as well, is, and I would say Sonic is not against doing this. This is why I have a problem with 1-2 being where it is in the game, because, like those higher stake or like those really challenging, like that's the shit for like old school, like folks that have played this stuff over and over again. They really love that stuff. I don't think they do a healthy enough balance in terms of like ramping up difficulty as the adventure carries on. The way Mario usually does it is like these first few levels kind of help you master stuff, and like they introduce newer things slightly, like they bring in more and more stuff to a point where like it ramps up at an even pace, because this is meant to easy to pick up, hard to master. Like that's the philosophy, right? Because like then you get to like the last few worlds, or then you get like the extra zones or worlds, I guess in Mario's case, where it really is like, okay, if you love this game and you really had a good time getting to this point, let's actually test what you've learned.
Actually, so I kind of have a point of agreement. I don't think this game actually has a difficulty curve.
I don't think it does either.
The more I've
that's
played,
a big problem with the last level, like that last boss too. I think I'm hoping that's the stuff that they are changing now, though.
Yeah, like I would still disagree slightly from the perspective that like, obviously Kronos Island, it's quite a small place, very easy to navigate, and all of the enemies you can just get them in the old 1-2 punch, Ares Island, the enemies get a little more difficult as they start shielding themselves. Chaos Island is a bit of a labyrinth. You really have to understand that island in order to get around. And then, of course, once you get to Oranos Island, the enemies can be kind of tough, especially that fucking caterpillar. I hate that guy. But what I will say is, yeah, there's no excuse for the Supreme to be by far the easiest Titan in the game.
Yeah, I think they do some stuff like the upgraded ninjas. I think those are like fairly superficial ways to up the difficulty, but I appreciate that it's there at all.
It's very much we recolored the starting level, the starting character, and the beat 'em up.
But I think like a lot of the issues in terms of design, in terms of like what Sonic fans have been noticing, like, oh, this is clearly all was one big island at some point, and then you added this. My problem with Chaos Island is like how you navigate it, where they completely change up how you navigate this versus the rest of this game. And the 2D sections really don't help you navigate that well.
The 2D sections can completely fuck themselves. You'll get no arguments from me in regard to the 2D sections.
But like, I wouldn't even say it's labyrinthian. I think it's like you need to find the one spot on this island where the rail leads you to the other island. And I don't know if that's really... that's not how I want to explore, not a 3D space. I think the idea of like momentum-based, like spin dash shooting off, people being able to break that shit, like that really rewards your skill level. I love that's now in it. I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
I think it's really frustrating thinking of Chaos Island. So I played through all of Chaos Island on stream, and I actually had to have somebody in my chat point out like, hey, if you want to get to those islands, the only way to really do it is getting to that one rail section. Because you know what I was trying to do on stream the entire time? You know those birds that fly around?
Yeah,
that
I
you
tried
can like
that.
you hit and ride on. I kept on trying to hit the birds and fly on them to get to the island because I'm thinking old school PS1 platformer or N64 platformer type of shit. We're like, oh, that's how the game wants me to get there. There's a thing that I can ride that's flying around, and there's a island I can't get to. So jump on the thing and it'll fly me over there. I mean, that's Mario 64 did that. Why not this? And nope, that's not what it's trying to do.
I mean, yeah, like I think you can still get there via the bird, but like
Oh, you
have to get
can.
at the right
It's
height.
real tricky.
Yeah, it's a very difficult. The reason why I call it quite labyrinthian, though, is you'll see a rail that looks like it's leading to the next island you need to go to, but instead it ends up going round it, and it turns out the rail you wanted is actually on the complete other end, and it doesn't even look like it goes there. And yeah, there's like a lot of trial and error. I'm saying this, and it's really strange because like Chaos Island has the most problems, but it's my favorite island to explore, and I can't quite explain why, but it just is. But like also shit. Yeah, no. Like I suppose like I'm kind of right in the middle of the road when it comes to like some of this discussion. Like I don't think Sonic Frontiers is like all rails for the platforming and stuff like that, but I do agree that it's a little over reliant on rails, and I do wish that there were some times when I'd be a bit more rewarded for thinking outside the box regarding like, you know, how I'm going to get from A to B. And they've definitely improved that in Update 2. You know, whether or not that should have just been there in the first place, that's a separate conversation that I'm just tired of having at this point. But, like, there were lots of occasions with the new platforming sections in Sonic Frontiers, down to the new Coco, where I'd be, like, looking up in the sky and I'd see, right, there's a platforming section there. How do I get there? And, like, working that out was fun. And it wasn't always based around rails. It was sometimes, okay, if I get up to this vantage point, fling myself off, I can then get there, you know? That's what a lot of Sonic is all about for me, and I was quite happy to see that maybe that's a promise for the future. Maybe that's more how these things are going to work in future games. Like, a bit more of find a vantage point, fling yourself off. It is worth noting we still have Sonic Prime to discuss.
That's a good point.
Actually,
we do
sorry,
love
boys,
getting
I
the
will-
frontiers a lot, don't we?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay,
Okay.
I love Frontiers.
So Gilly, are you back?
Yep.
How
Yep.
do you have any thoughts about any of this? Have you played any of the frontiers?
Nope. I
Sure.
beat Frontiers.
You
beat
were
the
the
game.
first person to hate Frontiers.
No, I like
Again,
Frontiers. It's
yeah.
nice that I don't. This doesn't do anything for me. They updated a game that I finished. That doesn't. I don't see what everybody else sees. I beat the game. I'm done with the game. This does nothing for me.
It made me want to play it again. Like, I'm just gonna say that.
Zelda made me want to play it again.
I return to games fairly frequently anyway, so like
I don't have time for that. There's other games that I want to
usually
play.
don't. Yeah, I usually don't.
I
But
mean, in fairness, yeah, I'm not like a massive gaming YouTuber, like, for example, fucking Gilly over here. So, like, yeah, I don't have to commit like several hours to playing different South Park games or whatnot. For me, it's kind of like it's the web swinging in Spider-Man. You know, like sometimes you have no intention of playing a mission, you just boot up the game to just swing around the city. And I kind of have that with like Sonic Frontiers as well. I'll just boot up the game just to keep my hands busy while I'm doing something else. And I'll just, you know, fucking spin dash around the islands and be like, yay, this is fun. I'm threading the needle. It's a lot of fun, you know? Like,
yeah, I get that, and I'm not quite there yet with open world Sonic, but I like more of the game more than I dislike. There's just in terms of like game design, I've always had issues with. But again, like this is also why I've been holding off in terms of like a bigger video on the gameplay, because since they announced all these updates, it's been interesting, especially when they made a big deal about the spin dash, and all of us were like, why is that a big deal? And now that it's out, oh, now we know why it's a big deal.
yeah,
I'm honestly
Because we-
looking forward to...
boosts too, and it wasn't.
I'm honestly looking forward to hearing your thoughts on it, Nick, because I do recall when we got the gameplay reveal, you had a lot of frustration at the fact that they had a chance to go a bit more in the momentum direction and they were sticking with boost. So, like, given that, I feel like this is kind of a bit of an answer. I don't know, because I find that half the time anyone's asking about momentum, everyone has a very different idea in mind for what that is. So I don't know how quelled you'll be, but like, I do think.
I mean,
it's got some
people are
off
very
you know?
interesting. Yeah. I mean, like, end of the day, I just want a nice open space that's fun to move around in, and I just always feel restricted when I have to be stuck in the same combat loops or these weird puzzles or rails in the sky. I don't hate any of it. I don't hate any of that at all. Just, yeah, I don't know. The spin dash I'm really excited about because there are just points where I want to launch off a thing and just see where that takes me. And I don't think I was rewarded for that very often. So I'm very excited to see what they continue to do.
Shall we,
but yeah,
move along to.
I was waiting for Wayne to come back. I was waiting for Wayne to come back.
I'm right
but-
here.
He's here.
Oh, okay. Welcome back.
I said I'd be
Yeah.
right back. I didn't say I'd be back later.
So I think, yeah, I agree. Time to talk about Sonic Prime Season 2 or how Shadow saved Christmas.
Is it
It's-
season
it's-
2? Is it season 1 part 2? Well, we know is it
It's
originally
titled-
made?
idea.
it is titled Season 2, Episode 1.
That's
and
usually
I
a
checked
sign
on
it's
Net-
getting canned. You know?
And I checked on Netflix, and the teaser for it said Season 2 trailer, so
It's getting canned.
It's
getting
important to say. It's important to say, like Netflix. This is not unlike Netflix. I watched all of Camp Cretaceous because I'm a big Jurassic Park nerd. And they would just take stories and just chop them up into little mini seasons, even if the stuff was already done.
It will be their way of
So-
saying, "Oh, it was a successful show. It ran for multiple seasons and it wrapped up its story. It's over. It's getting cancelled. I'm telling you all right now. Prime
How
will
many-
not get renewed.
How many seasons does Cuphead have?
I think they actually go and get the stuff done, and then they go make more. Good for them.
Yeah, Cupcake.
I heard-
Cupcake.
Cupcake?
Cupcake.
Cupcake. Cupcake. Cuphead is different.
I heard it's good.
Yeah, that show's
need to-
good.
That
solid.
show's
That's
really
good.
good.
That's good.
So,
Yeah.
who here's seen it then? Apart from Gilly, because he didn't do shit. What
I've
about the
seen
rest
it.
of you?
I saw it.
Yeah, I watched it.
Same.
You know, at least this one felt like something worth watching.
It
It also felt like, wow, this should have been a movie, not a series.
So
this definitely does not feel like the beginning of a second season. This feels like
mid-season
just
opener.
after the. This feels like it feels like after the big reveal mid-season is what it
Yeah.
feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's just like, man, I enjoyed it. But it was just like during that big fight sequence between Sonic and Shadow, I'm just thinking, God damn, I enjoy this so much more than just dicking around in all the little universes I don't care about.
Yeah, because Shadow's a character you actually care about, not
Yeah.
Tails if he was feral.
Well, so like there's that's the thing is by the end of the episode I'm like, all right, so the next episode is not going to be as good because that is kind of they're setting up back to normality after this. But okay, so shall we just put a spoiler warning out there? Are we going to do spoiler warning?
I mean, it's out there on
we have
YouTube. If you haven't seen it yet, that's kind of on you.
It's on Netflix After School's YouTube channel. The first episode of season 2 is out. Okay, so just a quick recap. I think Sonic Prime is the most mid-fucking thing in the world. Like, it's a toy commercial is basically what it is. It's appropriate for kids.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll eat it up, but like, there's not much in it for like an adult Sonic fan, put it that way. And yeah, so I think for what it does, it works fine, but I don't care for it myself. I find it very repetitive. The dimension hopping, I would rather just have a series of just the regular Sonic cast. But
Well, there's a couple things in here that I like though. I like 9.
he's alright.
Okay, yeah, no, I like
But I just like Tails.
Rust-
you know?
There's
I
clear
like-
favorites with the worlds.
I like 9 when his dialogue isn't being obnoxious.
I like Tails, and I mean, Rusty Rose is the one kind of concept in there that I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. But like, all right, so with that out the way, I really enjoyed this episode. Like, going into it, I was like, oh boy, some Sonic Prime to watch. Let's just get through this. We got to talk about it in Sunset City. But I watched it, and I really enjoyed it. And I fully admit that is wholly down to the fact that we've got Shadow as a major player in this series now, as opposed to just a bit part. Whether or not he will go back to being just bit parts, I don't know. But this was, by and large, like, you don't have the extended cast of, like, 9 or any of that lot. It's just Sonic and Shadow just interacting with
With
each
a-
other.
A
Like
brief cameo from the Chaos Council.
brief cameo
very,
from the
very brief.
shit from the new fucking Deadly Six.
I
Yeah.
hate Chaos Council so much.
I hate them.
So my question, this is a thing that was just kind of burned into my brain at the very end, where they're just like, okay, if we're gonna fix all this crap, we gotta do it together, which I thought was a cute moment. But then I'm just, and then it's just immediately, I'm thinking, okay, we had a moment in here where Sonic shows that he can actually dimension hop without Nine's gear, and maybe he just needs to learn how to control it. So give the tech to Shadow, and then he should be able to dimension hop. And then they're like, oh no, wait, that's not how that works. Shadow can't dimension hop on his own, even with the gear. And I'm like,
Which
okay,
is
then what's the
really
point of the
weird
gear?
because he's Shadow.
Yeah, I'm like, what's the point of the gear then at all? And then I'm just like, well, what the hell is Shadow gonna do? How is this a together thing if Sonic is still the only one that can hop between these stupid dimensions?
They establish early on the gear is there so Sonic can even use his powers at all in any of the other dimensions.
Yeah, no, like it was established that all that energy is built up in Sonic. They never established that's built up in Shadow as well. That gear is to help Sonic control the energy already within him.
I get
It shouldn't
that,
work on
but
Shadow.
what I'm saying is that there was a narrative opportunity here, and I'm just like, again, what are they doing together? It's just Sonic again.
Yeah,
and
that's-
Shadow's just
That's
stuck in the void.
thing, is like the idea of them both being side by side in these dimensions now, and Shadow just being there with Sonic would actually make this show like 10 times better, because you add Shadow in and it's better. And also, not to mention, it's a good portrayal of Shadow. I love this version of Shadow. I like his voice actor. I thought he, was characterized well. There was a point in the episode where he's taking Sonic's gear and he's just like, your turn is over. I'm taking over. I'm like, oh my god, please.
Well, that was like when he got the gear and he was just like, all right, I'm going to go get the rest of the crystals. In my head, I was thinking, I legitimately believe he could get it done faster and more efficiently than Sonic could.
I trust him more than Sonic because he's given me no reason
trust
not
him more
to
than
trust
Sonic.
him. Like, Sonic was like, oh, I know what you're capable of. It's like, we don't know, though. Like, I mean, okay, Sonic Adventure 2, but that was a long time ago, man. Like, let it go. But also, like, we've seen Sonic
Do you want Shadow back or not? Pick a lane.
We've seen Sonic fuck this up constantly, We've seen Sonic fuck this up over and over again. So I trust in Shadow. And yes, I want Shadow. I'm telling Sonic to let go of Shadow's past misdeeds. But yeah, I trust Shadow. I don't know what they were trying to get at with, like,
I'm going to push back. I'm pushing back when you go ahead. Finish your point.
I got nothing. I'm just here for the news flash. Nick pushes back bit again.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I understand why people want more Shadow. I think partially this is not my own opinion, but also like just the fact of the matter is, I think just from what we've heard from some of the comic writers on Twitter and stuff like that, I think Sega puts a limit on how much Shadow can actually be showing up in anything. And I don't hate that idea. I do love seeing Metal Sonic all over the place, but it does definitely lessen the impact of those characters when they show up as constantly as they do. And I think having Shadow just pop in occasionally makes him just a little bit cooler, especially when they did him so well here. Like I do agree. I don't think they really kind of betray like what he is capable of, but I think that is still implied, like, hey, if Shadow goes and takes care of this, he will kill everybody in his way. Because they flat out say, like, he does not see these as people. They're just they're not the source dimension. They don't matter. It doesn't matter what happens to the universe. It doesn't matter. Nothing else matters but this one objective, where Sonic, who's the one that screwed it up and in turn should be the one that gets to grow and redeem himself because he's the one that fucked up. He also has had the chance to take the time to get into these worlds, meet these versions of these characters, and understand their plights. Like he's a very empathetic hedgehog, and I
agree with
I
that.
kind of like that.
My
like that.
thing is, I also don't believe they matter.
I think they do.
I
there's
don't think they
versions of the
matter
same
one
characters.
iota. I think as soon as you put together the Chaos Prism or whatever it is, Paradox Prism back together, those universes cease to exist and it just goes back to normal.
Well, I
They
think
don't
that's
matter.
going to be the interesting thing. Is I get the feeling that Sonic
Yeah.
is by the end of it going to be like, maybe I can find a way to sustain these universes and bring back my own. I get the feeling that Sonic is going to be doing an I can do both moment, you know, and I think that's going to be really cool. If they don't do that, they're missing a trick. But like, the thing
That could
is,
be a very cool moral
The
conflict
thing is also-
if they discover that.
who's to say that he's gonna win? You know, like obviously we know he's gonna win, but like just because right now, like the idea is he puts the Paradox Prison back together, they cease to exist. Does that mean he has the right to kill him now, even if he, you know, fails to get the Paradox? Are you Hitler?
I don't care about them and I don't like them. I
Oh
don't
no,
like
but
any of
I'm
these versions of
talking.
these
I'm
characters.
talking in like an immersive sense because I don't.
And I'm also
truthfully-
talking in terms of an immersive sense. If we're just talking outside of the writer's room, outside of, you know, Sega's higher up or anything like that, just within this universe and the justifications of these characters doing what they're doing, I don't care that, you know, Shadow shouldn't be showing up in this, that, or the other. As these characters have been portrayed in this story, as of right now, Shadow is more capable than Sonic. Sonic is a constant fuck up. He's irresponsible. He's a literal child, and Shadow is the only one who can actually get this shit done. Sonic is the one that messed everything up to begin with, and I think Shadow is perfectly within his rights to say, you're the one that destroyed all of this. I'm not trusting you to put it back together.
I mean, I agree
Yeah.
with that. I think the whole point is that it's.
that makes this conflict interesting.
I think the whole point is like the best outcome is the two of them work together, but I've just a bit knocked off that doesn't mean that he gets to actually properly work together because he can't go to the dimensions. And in
yeah, that's why it
regards to
frustrates the hell out of me.
in regard to the whole Sega mandate and oversaturation thing, I think yes, oversaturation can hurt a character, but if you set a character up as having a role in this story that would require them to be around, I hate it if they just puss out and be like, okay, now he's just bit parts, you know, like. If you set up Shadow as being a part of this story, show him, you know, like. One thing
we
I
don't
will
know
say
the rest of the narrative. We don't know, guys.
one thing I will say
Like
is
there's still a whole season.
I really like the opening that was showing what Shadow was getting up to while Sonic was running around the different dimensions. I thought that was an awesome opening.
I think I don't know, like in terms of like it's not the most brilliant bit of storytelling, but for like kids TV and the narrative that they're building up, I thought it was fine. Just in terms of like letting the stuff kind of permeate a little bit. Maybe we wait a little bit too long to get to like the stuff where it actually gets a bit interesting. But I think Shadow and his narrative is that turning point where shit starts getting real. I will agree in terms of like I said, there's clear favorites with these different worlds, right? Like New York City was clearly the favorite here.
That's the one that
because
matters.
it's a world without Sonic, and then the rest are generic fucking. This has nothing to do with Sonic. It's like, what if it was jungle, or what if it was pirates?
Yeah, it's quite clear that New York was the one that they had the idea from the get-go, and the rest they were just like, okay, maybe pirates. Yeah, like
It's weird. It's weird to me that New York City even has the Chaos Council at all.
there was,
like-
yeah, there was a lot I liked about this episode from the perspective of it's a break from all that shit, you know, of like Sonic going up to someone and be like, oh, hey, Tails, and like, actually, my name's John. And it's like, no, you're Tails, you're my best friend. I don't know who the fuck you are, fuck off. It was nice to get a break from that shit, you know, and just be back in Green Hills. Oh, fuck me. It was nice to be back in Green Hills. I liked the holograms of the regular cast. That was nice and eerie. That was some cool story to like. That's the thing is, this episode gave me a break from Sonic Prime, which is what I liked about it, you know? And
that's
Sonic is actually reflecting on these things on an emotional level. He's not just all like, whoa, big multiversal adventure. He's like, he's fucking feeling some guilt for this. And it's like, oh my god, we're treating him like he's a character. Good shit, man.
I think that was the single like narrative success of this episode, because outside of that, all it did was set up Shadow and Sonic working together, and I don't know how in the world you're gonna call this them working together when it's still just Sonic.
I
on his
mean,
own.
as Nick says, we are yet
that
to
I
see.
can't get over that. I can't
Maybe
get
he'll
over.
get
They're
tech.
like,
Maybe he'll get through. I don't know. Like,
if they find a way to bring that into it, sure. Just because I have been shitting on it, I do like the fact that it gave Sonic a moment to have to reflect and be like, oh, yeah, no, I'm the reason that this all happened, and like he grew up a little bit in that scene, and I like that. But I don't know. It's just everything else about this show just drives me insane.
yeah.
It just sounds like you're just not a fan of the premise in general. Which
I'm not. It fucked the multiverse. I'm so fucking tired of it, and they're not even doing anything interesting with it.
That's the thing is I like this episode in a vacuum, but I don't think it's going to necessarily redeem the series because, again, I'm not rolling with the premise.
yeah.
It's a toy commercial is what it is. Buy your caveman
It's a
Tails
bad
figure,
toy
you know?
commercial.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, I still think as a kid's product, it's alright, you know? Like, it's not the kind of thing that's going to impress a lot of adults, but it's alright, you know? Like,
I think
I'm fine with it.
kids can get better than this.
they can, but if
Sure,
they're going to like
but
it, they're going
I
to...
don't know what you're expecting from Sonic, man.
That said, I'll say this: the action sequences in this show are really good. Like, I thought the stairway fight from the third episode went hard, and I thought the Sonic v Shadow fight here went hard. And it's
The
like,
Sonic v Shadow side is really
Sonic,
fun.
the Sonic, yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like, how many Shadow fans were just getting hot at the collar when he turns around after purposely getting punched? He's got one of the things in his mouth.
oh god,
It was
oh god.
it was
That was
kind of
fucking
funny.
cool. That's so
It-
fucking cool.
It was funny because when they're just like bumping into each other and everything, I just kept hearing "I'll show you the ultimate chaos control." You know, that just
I'm the coolest. But he's not wrong. He is the coolest. It would be cringe if he wasn't the coolest and he said that. You know, like
I do
The
think
hell
it's,
is going on?
This
I don't know.
scene is
I
right.
agree with you guys in terms of like how limited this is with such an expansive idea. Like I've never been and didn't any disagreement there. Like I know I appreciate them trying to establish these characters, but like just the central premise of like we're not actually going to spend time with these characters. We're going to spend time with alternate versions of them first. They worked against it best they could, but it's still just it's got its
Yeah.
problems right there in that very single idea.
it's just
And
a
I'm
very
sorry for-
repetitive show in general. I find.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for taking up so much of the hot air on this one. It's just I feel strongly about it. My thing is like it's not even so much me just not liking the premise. I think they failed to capitalize on the premise if the best part of the show is when they don't do the premise.
No, someone said in the comments just a second ago, pup, if the thing you're loving about this is getting a break from the core premise, what does that say? It's like, yeah, no, exactly. No, like, completely true. I just enjoyed this from the standpoint of it's a two-man show. You got Sonic and Shadow walking around an empty place, chatting about shit, and I'm just like, yeah, that's good entertainment as far as I'm concerned, and I do like this take on Shadow a lot, so... gold
Yeah.
stars for characterization. I'll be honest, while I do think he can be a little much, I do not have a problem with Sonic's overall characterization in this show either.
I don't either. I don't
Like,
either.
the
I think
idea-
it's fine.
like,
It's okay.
impatience has always been integral to Sonic. Like, look at his fucking idle animation. That back in the day in Sonic 1 was the one bit of characterization we could get out of that little sprite, was him looking at you being like, come the fuck on. You know? So making his character flaw, his impatience, how quick he is to act and stuff, makes perfect sense to me. So I know that some people will say that's contradictory, but they changed it as far as I'm concerned. That doesn't mean they got it wrong, they just changed it, you know? And I think it's a change
this
that
is
works.
back, this is back to a Sonic that is not perfect, and I understand how people are like, they can't call him like the same character as the game version. I completely understand that critique because like a lot of people are fixated on this being canon to whatever's happening in the games and all that.
When has
I
the
get
game
that why that's
version ever been consistent?
What is the game version?
Yeah, go from
yes,
Lost
talking
World
about, like,
I'm with you guys.
to
I'm with you
Frontiers.
guys.
Like,
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But like this, to me, at the very least, lets the rest of the cast matter. Like there's different personalities that can bring in something else, and I love a Shadow that is. He has his own flaws, right? Like he is a go-getter. He gets his stuff done, and like as Wayne is pointing out, is like I can do this better. I get it done faster. But I like Sonic that like the entire time. Like Shadow's first response is like, "I'm pissed at you. You blew up our world. I'm going to hit you." And like by the end of the episode, it's just like, now we do have to find a middle ground here. That's the kind of healthy, friendly rivalry I want between those two. And I think just that one episode told me, like, okay, while it's not perfect, I think the showrunners at least know what they're doing. And I am curious to see where this all leads up to, because I think from here on out for the rest of season 2 is going to be clashing worlds. Shadow will pop in here and there because I think they have to keep it limited, because if he did hop in any of those dimensions, this is done like that.
Yeah.
Damned be the consequences as long as I get what I want. We finish the mission.
There is
So.
He
there was
kills the
something
Maria
about
Robotnik of another dimension.
oh no. It's a canon event. There was the one when the Chaos Castle is like flying in towards the jungle world. I was just thinking of like Kingdom Hearts 2, where like Luxord just shows up in the fucking like Pirates of the Caribbean world.
I fucking remember.
I don't know.
this.
I
Played
feel
all those
like
games. I don't remember a single part.
I feel like there's some fun to be had there. It still is just like when everything was a little bit more contained and it felt like there was less dicking around and there was more focus on a single premise. It really did just make me feel like this would have just worked out better if it had been a movie and not a full series.
Yeah, there's a lot of killing time, you know, like especially
Yeah,
like
because
I didn't mind like from the perspective like there's an environmental message, the Boss Cage episodes, but at the same time it was just treading water for like 2 whole episodes.
Some of that was, yeah.
It felt like wasted time to me.
It's filler,
it just,
you know, like, but like, yeah, like the worst kind of filler is.
70% of the show feels like filler.
I think that's the worst thing you can really have with a show is when you almost kind of want your time back, and I think Prime does unfortunately fall into. Okay, just a question, because like I think last time we talked about Prime was when it came out. Are we all ready to admit that Boom is the better show now?
I mean, it's better written.
It's better.
Better.
It is better.
There we go.
Prime's a better
Victory is
fit for
mine.
Sonic.
Victory
I
is
think
mine.
Prime is
think
better
Prime's a fit
animated.
for Sonic. I think it's a better fit for Sonic overall.
I mean,
I think
that's a fair take, I guess. Yeah.
yeah. I think Prime is animated better. I still don't like the animation style of Boom, although I will say they did a damn good job for, 3D animation for television.
Yeah, I
even
mean,
at that
I can.
time.
Yeah, I can now attest. Like, I think Prime's animation is nice. It's got its flaws, but I think like there was also a little thread of one of the animators that worked on the show talking on Twitter, saying that when it comes to a show like this with the deadlines, not every shot is going to necessarily be treated as like this one's going into promo material. So there are certain things that are going to slip, and that's fair enough. I hate the way this Sonic's armpits are rigged. It's just wrong. I make fun of people who.
Looking at Sonic Spits a lot.
I'll make fun of that fucking muzzle gate curve all day long, but fucking give me good armpits, you know? Like.
So telling us a little bit something about yourself there, Pup?
I want to give him a good old sniff. I bet he smells like cinnamon.
Oh,
Do you think that?
Don't
do you think
ask
that
questions you're not prepared to know the answers to, boy.
Do you think that rigging is the pits?
Yeah.
Y'all know what to fucking expect from me at this point.
All right. Well, hey,
Wayne's
I've said all I can
characterization
really
is
say
so
there.
inconsistent.
But
I like Sonic.
just so we can, because our poor boy Gilly's not been able to talk a whole lot about this because he refuses to watch it.
Oh,
watch
boo
Prime.
hoo. And whose choice was that, huh? Whose choice?
It's my choice
Exactly.
to not
liberal.
watch the show.
Do you guys want to move on to super chats?
Let's move on to Super Chats.
I think so, yeah.
All right, and we're doing it using Nick's new system now. So, yeah, let's... if anything goes wrong, we pin it all on Nick.
What is Nick's new system?
Okay, so you
We
go
use the
onto...
fan
Yeah,
funding
you
tab?
go onto the fan funding tab on the stream.
Hold on.
Okay, so the comments where it says
Oh,
like,
there's
top
no more
chat.
burger. We're not no more burger.
I mean, we
know.
can still say burger before every one if you want. If that
We,
makes it...
we can say it, yeah.
Yeah, we can still say
I'm
it.
not going to get gaslit. Like, there wasn't actual debates on who's putting down super chats in the past.
There
There wasn't
were
There
brief...
wasn't a debate.
brief-
There was never a debate. There was me saying, "Hey, can someone else do the super chats?" And then other people being like, "No, fuck you."
And then I would refuse because
So
I just...
passive aggressive nonsense.
And then I would refuse just because I do everything else.
So like an argument.
It's
is what I'm saying.
it's too quick for that. It's too quick. All right. Well,
Gilly,
anyway.
have you found the tab?
What?
Have you found the fan funding tab?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, I guess we'll go round table order. So,
Yeah.
Way Past Cool Kid sends $1.99. Can't wait to see the rest of season 2. Blue heart. # boobs. She loves
looking forward to it
boobs.
too,
She
Ways Past Cool.
loves boobs.
Looking forward to it too. Go away, dogs. R. Paul Jamal with $5.
Hell yeah.
Happy B-Theory weekend, guys. Milk
Burger.
Bro forever. Wallace. 3 more weeks until TMNT movie, guys. Hell yeah.
Oh, is it that soon?
Sure is.
Oh yeah, I got to get your stupid Pop Rocks drink.
Mr.
I
SP
got
with
that. Hell yeah.
$7.07. Welcome back to Sunset City, the Sonic podcast from people who aren't tombstones.
It just reminds me of the way that Gordon Ramsay says restaurant. He's just like restaurant.
Tombsness.
We
should
should
really just-
Tombst.
look at the tombstones.
What if instead of like actual like headstones, we just had like the Tombstones pizza?
You mean headstones?
Headstones pizza.
Headstone's Pizza.
Cyrus, you're up.
Worshman. Sonic Fan 1661. Thank you for the $2. This is even more funny the more tired you are.
Linda.
Lid.
Lid!
Pup, could you remind me on the pronunciation?
I don't even know if this is correct, but B. Dickanoa.
B. Dickanoa. All right, thank you. Yeah, I just got to get it in my head at least once. So we got B. Dickanoa with $2 Canadian. I admire Pup's fun humor and admirable work ethic.
You hear that, guys? I got an admiral work ethic. Hell yeah.
You got an
I know
Adam's
you do. I
apple.
compliment that about you all the time.
No, you don't. You don't. You never do. You need to do it more.
I always shout you out when you need edit work.
You
What are
need
you
to do
talking
it
about?
more. You need
Oh
to
my
do it
God.
more, Nick. Please.
You need to read the next super chat.
Okay,
please.
then I guess I'll read the next super chat then from B. Dickanoa with $5 Canadian. I admire Nick and Gilly's Big Brother vibes. They're always looking out for their friends, putting them first. I don't know what Nick and
When?
Gilly you know, but secondly, you guys have to share one. Pathetic. All right.
Always be Dickanoa always with the nice compliments.
Yeah, it's
Should
very
not
kind,
back again
very
with these.
kind B. Dickanoa.
And continuing on with another $2 Canadian. Thank you again. I admire Cyrus's friendly demeanor and vast knowledge.
That vast knowledge
I'm
only
an
approves
idiot.
like book knowledge. He is actually an idiot, I've discovered. I used to think he was like the
I've seen
smartest
him.
guy
Wait,
in the world.
wait till you go to a restaurant with him and see him try to take his fucking leftovers home.
I don't know physics.
This guy is the definition of a goddamn pillock, but he's book smart. He's all right.
Love you guys too.
Gil.
Be Dick and Noah with $5. Can't. I got nothing. I got nothing funny to say. I admire Wayne's patience and tenacity to see things through to the
Thanos
end.
City.
Yeah, it's not like he
Tennessee.
fucking quit or anything, is it?
God damn it! I could have said Tennessee and I fucking didn't.
I came back.
God, imagine
God damn
leaving
it.
and coming back, Wayne. Imagine.
Yeah, I'll imagine that.
Serious?
All right, Cyrus.
Jesus Christ. Thank you, Beat It Shinoa, for the $2 Canadian. You guys are pretty cool.
Thank you, Beat It Chinoa, for like going through
pretty
and just like
cool.
announcing us like Ninja Turtles.
Pretty cool.
So
There
I'm
you go.
noticing the
I don't know.
pronunciation
I
of
don't know.
B.
It's-
Dick and
it's-
Noah is really
it
starting to
seems
vary
like-
here now.
I don't know, it just reminded me of like the latest trailer. Like,
It's
Raphael, you have bravery.
this person is saying we're pretty cool, but apparently we're less than 3. So
Oh no! Wait.
All right,
Wayne.
Wayne.
Hey.
All right, we got Captain Cold Cuts with $2. Pup, thoughts if crypto is in Superman Legacy?
Just as long as you ain't kidding, hell yeah. But depends on the tone, I guess, and I'm hoping they're not gonna go overly light with the tone as like an overreaction to like the Snyder stuff. I'm hoping we'll still get like a happy medium. But maybe they can fit crypto in there, just as long as he doesn't fucking talk, you know? Like, then we're good. Alright, so now our French friend Lederic with $10.
Lederic.
Tall midna or short stack midna?
What the fuck
Short
is that?
stack midna. Short stack midna.
That was a very, very quick response.
I don't know who's midna.
Tall Midna.
Midna from Zelda Twilight Princess.
Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so I'm guessing that's the tall
So
version.
Cirrus wants that.
Wait, hang
that
on. Is the
toddler
short stack one the one that literally has a toddler body?
Yeah.
She's an imp, but also yes.
Where
She's also way more funny when she's like that.
She is way more funny when she's like that, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
like
Like,
she's a fun character when she-
sex
Listen, if
perspective
the question means what I'm thinking you means, I don't really care what she talks about.
Oh my god.
I had
Oh
more of
my
an
God.
attachment to Imp Midna because
You spend most of the game
because
with her?
With you in most of the fucking
Form-
game.
yeah, because True Form Midna shows up for 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. Nick.
All right.
Burger.
Sonic fan 1661 with $2. Thank you. So how much did Gilly peak on his mic there?
Was that?
I'm guessing that was
Johnny?
when you were
That
doing
was-
the rebuttal to Surus earlier.
Get
Oh,
on
okay.
with that.
Oh, come on with that. Heard all of it clearly. So
Speaking of, Sonic fan 1661 with $2. Okay, let's get political. Communism versus capitalism.
I sure am reading
This is a
these.
Sonic the Hedgehog podcast.
I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying reading these super chats. By the way, it always makes me so
Capitalism
happy.
has brought you.
Yeah, I was gonna
Capitalism has
say-
brought you your stupid hedgehog.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say it'd be kind of hard to have Sonic.
At this
You know-
point, that should be an argument against capitalism.
Is it
Not in my case.
Okay,
I like
but-
Sonic around here.
all of the? So funnily enough, though, all the iconography in Sonic Forces is based off of Russian communist worker propaganda. So, just make it all go around.
All right,
and also something
Surus.
you said about the old school Western stuff when like the whole evil thing was turning everybody into singular minded robots.
Yep.
Just saying.
Surus Burger.
Jesus Christ, there is no burger. Thank you, Topher0523.
What's that in front of you, Cyrus?
$9.99.
What's that in front of you at the desk?
I guess that's a.
He's gonna say literally what's in front of him at his actual desk.
Yeah, let's not let him
I-
do that.
I
Let's
did.
just move along to the.
I actually sat there contemplating, like, I mean, I got a phone and a stream deck. Does that count?
He's doing it anyway. He's doing it anyway. Right, yeah, there we go.
Anyway,
Interesting.
anyway,
It'd be funny if he actually had a burger.
Stop it, Gilly. Let him speak.
thank you for the $9.99. Hope you boys have a great weekend. Also, want to apologize for my terrible grammar last week. I swear I speak good English. I don't.
Ham franchises.
What is a dead game franchise you'd love to see come back besides Sonic? Spectrobes.
Star
Well,
Fox.
Noah.
I want Spectrobes back.
Oh, so one answer each, so we don't turn this into a fucking secondary podcast.
Star Fox.
Didn't we say this last week?
We
we
said a
did.
similar thing last week, but if they're paying to hear it,
We didn't.
then
Yeah,
we're
we didn't have
fucking-
Wayne. We didn't have Wayne and Gilly.
That's true. We didn't.
Star Fox.
Was I not here last week?
You were
No,
here.
you were.
No, your hemorrhoids were just minor enough for you to come on the show. These
No,
two were
sorry,
just
I meant Cirrus and yeah.
blood everywhere.
Yeah, I wasn't here.
There's a Morbius.
Oh, you know what?
paradise.
You know what? Sparkster.
That's a good one. I like that.
By the way,
Ready.
Gilly, how are your hemorrhoids doing?
Oh my god.
oh dear God.
We agreed,
I,
didn't we, Wayne? We agreed they had
You're,
hemorrhoids.
you're making a joke, but there's blood in my toilet.
Nice.
Oh my God.
I was the first person to have hemorrhoids.
I'm gonna say, like I said last week, I think I landed on Endless Ocean. Really like those games. I like just floating around in the ocean looking at
Banjo Kazooie.
Yeah.
They released
Yeah,
a new
that
game
was in
just
the
last
conversation.
year. It was called Nuts and Bolts, remember? It was great. It's fantastic.
Last year.
I don't know. My,
fuck.
my sense of time isn't brilliant.
Just woke up from the coma. Sorry, buddy.
Knights. We could use another Knights game.
We could.
Yeah.
All good
I
choices.
was gonna say Jet
You know
Set
what's
Radio,
funny?
but if that came out now, people would complain about it being political, even
You
if
know
it
what's
was
funny
exactly
about-
the same as it used to be.
I've never once actually played Knights, and it's so funny to me because I don't know what you do in it. I've only seen footage of flying around through rings and stuff, and so I'm convinced that it's just one screen where you fly around. So I like the fact that I've never played it, and I'm purposely not playing it so that can just be what I think the game is.
That's just what Knights is to you.
Yeah.
Is that what Knights is to you, Gilly?
By the way,
It's
Wayne,
just 2D Superman 64.
Wayne, you're up next, by the way.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Did everybody name something?
Yeah.
Okay. Sonic Fan 1661. Burger. Why would we scoff at her? She's not a Sonic fan.
Well, hold on a minute now. My sister was a Sonic fan before I was even born. She just didn't make it her entire personality like I did.
Fair enough. All right. Black
Sounds healthier.
94. Yeah, it does. With $2. What's y'all gaming backlog look like? Jesus. Dude,
No,
Let's see, we got
I-
Sonic
I-
1, 2, 3,
Let me take
4,
a picture
5,
of
6,
my shelf.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Wayne just got me my copy of Silent Hill, and I also got that copy of Arc Rise Fantasia thanks to Nick, so I got to play through one good game soon.
I have hundreds of games in this room, and I have not played more than half of them.
Well,
It's-
next up for me is Final Fantasy 16. That's
I need to play Gato Roboto.
dude. You could have played that game and beat it while we've been talking.
I know. I'm gonna stream it. I haven't downloaded it on my Switch, so I gotta download that.
It's so good.
Been playing a lot of
That and,
Pointy.
Ooh, I just I downloaded the Nick. There's a demo. There's a demo out on Steam for
Hmm.
Iron Meat.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
So
You saw
I
a
gotta
trailer
play
for that
shit.
DMG and it just looks hysterically good. I mean, I guess that's a better way to kind of wrap that particular question up is like, what are you going to kind of knock off that? Because mine's a mountain. Like I've stuff from the 90s. I've been like, oh, I'll get to it eventually. Like Final Fantasies and Earthbounds and what have you. Like I just,
Wait, hang on.
some
Who read that last super chat?
that was me.
You fucking
But,
idiot. That was my one to read, you ass.
Well, maybe you should be more on top of things.
Got a point.
I struggle with women, alright? Okay.
Amazing. All right. Then why don't you take this next one?
No. Go Gilly. We'll just loop back round. I'll get there eventually.
All right. Gilly.
Sci-Fi 1661, $5. I kind of hope they do more with the unintentional hit a rock and launch to the moon bug. That bug is super fun to use, especially for memory tokens.
I would
They-
like just ramps.
They will add
You
more
like
rocks.
intentional launch to the moons.
Whoa, these
These
are called
intentional
launch
launches.
rocks, you know?
Intentional level design on the islands themselves?
Yeah. yeah.
Yeah?
That's what I want. Give me a big bridge, but I can't access it until the stupid cutscene. Thanks, guys. Anyway.
Cirrus, you are up.
Sonic Fan 1661. Thank you for the $2. Mom said it's my turn on the 9 tech.
That was
Never
the
wanna hear you
episode.
make That sound again.
That was basically the episode. You know how it is.
That was.
Hell yeah. Wayne.
All right. We got Mr. SP with $10. I'd like to see several different defaults based on past Sonic games using a certain combination of the sliders, even if it isn't Frontiers. Even if it isn't in Frontiers, sorry. It would be a nice option for future open world games.
Yeah, I think the problem is you end up with like press play game and you got like a laundry list of different play styles and people aren't necessarily going to know what to go with, you know?
Yeah, that'd be a little overwhelming.
I guess like maybe 3 would be tops. 4 is definitely pushing it. Like if you had something that's like, you know, you could give them fun names like Boost Man or Momentum Master or Plain Jane
Vector Man.
or Mario.
Do you guys think that having these sliders would potentially, I mean, we're getting them anyway. Curious to see how it's implemented. Do you think it kind of negates potentially the purpose of other characters with other top speeds and things of that nature?
I think we'll see certain things even out. Like I think like certain speeds will be nixed, I would think.
Oh, yeah. I'm curious to see how these sliders
It
play
might
in with the
it might
other
even be like
characters.
the appeal of Sonic is he's got the potential to go this fast, but whether or not he does is on you, buddy. You know, like maybe that's the direction they're taking it. I don't know.
I wonder if it's just going to be skins. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I certainly don't know. I didn't look at anything.
Man, I can't believe Sonic is out skinning people now.
He can skin me.
All right.
All right, so Sonic Fan 1661 sends $2. Pop, I know what you search on E621. I don't know what that is. Is that like a
I don't
tax
either.
form or something? I'm gonna look it up.
I
Wait, this sounds like a
Have
trap.
fun.
E621.
That might be what that is actually.
Let's see.
It's
There's an age restriction on it.
Chris,
Okay.
what is it?
I
it's
agree.
a it's a furry porn board.
Oh, cool. I'm
Okay.
gonna look up Sonic.
Oh.
Okay. Let's.
Mike
Oh,
1911
lordy.
with $4.99.
Oh, there's some
Sonic Saturday
artwork
is
here.
getting another DVD release this September. While it might be minimal, I hope this is a sign of things to come for the Freedom Fighters. I don't think it is, but it is nice that it is going to be available.
Don't count on it.
It's not as nice of a. It's not as nice of a re-release as we've gotten for Sonic X or Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, or even
It's not
Sonic
as
Boom.
nice of a show, frankly. You know.
God's
I
sakes.
have
But
fucking around.
like all those got Blu-ray releases. They're all like the best quality you can expect for them, even if it's like standard definition on Blu-ray. This is just another release from the same folks that have always re-released. And it is Wild Brain. Like they still own the rights to distribution there, and the cover art's kind of grody. But at the very least,
awful.
at the very least, it's I don't know, because like the only other DVD release of the full series is that Penders cover, and that's getting high up there in price. So having something available at a more reasonable rate is always welcome. Even if the Freedom Fighters don't come back, I do think preserving media is always important. So yeah, I'm happy about it.
Yeah, it sure is Disney Plus and Warner Max. You guys can go fuck yourselves. I
You
hate
tell 'em, bud.
I hate David Zaslav. He's normalized this shit. I hate him.
Well, I mean, just streaming wise, like I think that's a sign alone that they're just using stuff because it's made and you can put it on, and who cares?
Yeah, but it's like
I mean, like SatAM's been on streaming this entire time, so I don't.
it's just
yeah,
so
I don't-
it's fucking anti-consumer. But I do know of a website that is pro-consumer that has all your favorite media on it and doesn't remove it.
What are we talking about removing media? What do you mean?
Arr. Anyways,
I'm just saying that they stopped producing that old DVD collection from like.
oh no,
over a
I
decade
was
ago.
I was
It-
segueing us
it-
into another topic about preservation of entertainment and how we're in a dark
Oh.
age when it comes to preservation of entertainment.
Right. Plus, Pup wasn't necessarily talking about Sonic content.
Fair.
Yeah, HBO Max was bad about that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's set a
that's
new
true.
precedent because now
100%.
Disney Plus are doing massive removals and stuff, and it's not just like there's no new episodes now. It's like you just can't fucking legally access it. Like, way to encourage piracy, guys.
I still lament Megas XLR.
I still
Yeah.
lament mega sex. What?
Mega
I mean, like,
XLR.
Have you never heard
I
of
think
Megas
it's
XLR?
Why would I have heard of that?
Oh my god, it's awesome.
Such a good show.
It's fucking great.
Wayne, do you
Uh,
love giant robots?
I love giant robots.
Megas
I'm
XLR.
still okay with. I mean, it's whatever with them kind of rotating out stuff. The problem with Max specifically was they also removed it from digital storefronts, so you couldn't own it digitally even.
Yeah, and also apparently it would disappear from your library if you had purchased it as well. So it's literally robbery at this point.
Yeah, I mean that's the shit you sign up for. That's the fine print. You don't.
I
technically own
hate
any of
David
it.
Zaslav. He's
thing.
normalized this. I hate him. I hate him.
He's not the first to do it, but yeah, he has kind of.
He's definitely
normalized it.
pushing it. He's
David
pushing
Zaslav,
it.
if you're out there listening to this, you do not deserve nice things.
Oh my god,
All right, whose turn is it with Nate Sabes?
I'm not sure. I can go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, so... No, Nick, you just
You know
read, so
what?
it's
I think
Gil.
it's
It's
Gilly.
Gil.
It's Gilly.
It's Gil.
Is it Gilly?
Yeah.
Where am I at?
Nate-
Nate Sabes. Look for the funny penguin.
Nate. Okay.
Honk.
Nate say
Not the one at the bottom.
What?
Not the
Oh,
one at
oh,
the bottom.
bottom,
It's,
yeah.
it's right under Mike 1991.
Nate Sabes.
1911.
Whatever.
For
Like the gun.
$4.99.
Dude.
First episode of Prime Season 2 was pretty good. Shadow was very cool, and their fight scene was awesome. Prime Sonic is still stupid and annoying, lol.
All right.
Very fucking
Thank you for
badass,
that.
Nate Sabis. Thank you. All right, Cirrus.
From Hopweed, thank you for the $5. You know the pics of those Sonic and Knuckles puppets? I think that's what Sonic and Friends is. Sonic and the Puppet Pals. Burger, B Theory, Milk. That's a nerd face. And a thumbs
You
up.
forgot to read the other bit that they paid for you to read. Read it.
No,
They paid
I
you.
didn't.
They paid you. Read it.
Read it.
Cool.
Read it. Read it, or the rest of this table's going to beat you up. Read it.
No.
Come on.
Wayne, you're next.
Don't make me kick you under the table, man.
Burger, B Theory, Milk, Ooh Woo.
They said UWU.
See, he's a badass. I like Wayne. Wayne is awesome.
We got
I just realized that there's a W, but there's actually a double U in there as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, but actually, no.
UWU.
It's worth us.
It's a double woo.
no,
it's a
it-
double woo meaning.
It's worth us actually stopping on that one for a second because we've seen what looks to be behind-the-scenes images of the Knuckles show, and they appear to be using a Knuckles puppet, possibly for maybe like they're going to put the CGI over that or something. But maybe maybe this isn't for the Knuckles show, and they're literally just doing Sonic and Friends, but with funny puppets. That can't be fun, like you know how it is, right? Tripped over my words.
All
there, but
right.
we got there in the end.
We got Sonic Fan 1661 with $2. Okay, I didn't actually expect him to go to it.
Oh, I went on it. You know, it's not one of the more well-known
Yeah.
ones. You know, like
Where are we going?
a
What?
porn website for furries. Get in.
Porn. Like shrimp?
Chicken and banana.
We won't yuck your yak or whatever that's saying.
Watchmen.
Chicken and banana. Prawns,
There's a yak on that site too.
Restaurant.
prawns and chocolate.
All right, Pup, you're up next.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. I got Nate Sabes with $4.99. Shall we put also a super chat cutoff here as well?
Yeah.
Yeah,
think so.
probably.
I'm gonna write down super chat cutoff now. All right. So Nate Sabes sends $4.99. Hope you all had your daily dose of Nilk, by the way. Nick, what are your thoughts on Sonic IDW 62? Or is that another porn site? Is it IDW 62? I love the cute dynamic between Amy and Knuckles. Okay, definitely a porn site. Nick, what do you think?
I liked it. It was a nice breather from the Imperial City arc, and it's a combination we don't see very often, and it again is a nice reminder of how well these writers know these characters, giving us interactions we don't normally get. And I would say this is probably also, I said in the video, I'm going to assume this was also done for the sake of Sonic Origins Plus now being out and having Amy run around Angel Island for the first time. I think they all inspired a story out of it, which is cool.
It did also help kind of like fill in some gaps in the transition from like Sonic Forces to IDW.
A little bit, yeah. It was nice to see them actually kind of address the conversation, because those two never actually had a conversation in terms of like the switch of leadership for the Resistance. So that was nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's gonna call it for today. Okay, guys. So what's everybody up to, Pup?
Well, I just about 20 minutes ago, a new video of mine dropped. It is every classic Sonic stage ranked from worst to best, and it's going to be different from any other existing video on that topic. So just can it, all right?
Fair enough. Gilly.
I don't know. I never know what I'm doing. Something will be out sometime.
In
I
the
have a-
meantime, go watch South Park.
I have watch my South Park video. I have a sponsor that needs to be out like the first or second week of August, so I have to do something by then. So
Do you need
Fair
any
enough.
help?
probably not, but I'll let you know.
Are you sure?
Okay, all right. Cirrus. Cirrus.
Okay.
Maniacal laughter. Anyways, we've all used Pup for editing at some point.
I haven't.
He hasn't.
Good.
The one person I wanted to use me didn't use me. I wanted him to use me like a diaper, but he didn't.
Oh my
I don't
God.
like this. I do not like this at all.
I think the next thing I'm going to be doing is quitting Sunset City. based on this. I'm kidding. It's not happening.
Mhm.
Honestly, right now, I don't have anything in the works. I have been through enough of an ordeal right now that just getting to normalcy is all I want to do.
I get that.
So you need another video edited?
So, Wayne,
Yeah.
hard at work on Digimon World 2. Anything else you want to kind of talk about?
Well, I'm going to be working on some Patreon exclusive stuff. I've got a blooper reel coming out, possibly later today, and then I'm doing a fun little behind the scenes video just about like how I capture some footage, some comparisons between like some the upscaler that I use and some older shittier methods of capturing a retro game footage that I used to use. And but that's not going up on YouTube. That will be exclusively on my Patreon. So just trying to throw a couple of other little things out there for the people that are supporting me during the long wait for the Digimon World 2 video. But that is also being worked on.
Fair enough. As for me, I'm still scripting out my Sonic Origins Plus video. I'm actually going to try and wrap all of those initial things today. I would like it out by early next week. I really don't want to wait another long ass time because I already know I'm a week late for Origins Plus, but I don't know. I want to get thorough about it. These games are important to me, so really wanted a thorough analysis of this. So I'm gonna get to work on that. I am going to drop the plan, anyways. Is I'm gonna do a follow-up Amy video. I don't know if it's gonna be 2 or 3 videos yet. So hang on to that. And outside of that, I am going to do a couple of Ninja Turtle videos closer to the release of the movie, and then probably movie review when that comes out. Maybe we can do a spoiler cast if you guys can watch it too. I don't know.
You you
What, Ninja Turtles?
Yeah.
You need
I'm absolutely gonna go see that.
editor for
Yeah.
any of those projects you got there, Nick. Yeah.
I still need to pay you for the other 2, but I probably will, pup. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm that guy that solicits editing jobs on a live stream.
That's fair.
Unfortunately, it's like, buddy, I would take you up on that at some point, but editing is literally like the most fun part to me, so I'm not giving that up.
I mean, maybe you want another service, huh? Maybe you want to go down a back alley and have a nice little handy J. You know how it is. All right.
All right.
Okay.
Guys, I think that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. And we'll catch you all next week. If you are new here, we do this every Friday morning. My time's 9 a.m., 12 on the East Coast, and 5 p.m. over in Pup's neck of the worlds. And
We
eventually I'll
also
get this.
have a patron. Give.
We do. We're not very good about the extra bonuses there.
Don't tell them that. Don't let them find that out after they've paid.
Oh my god! But we're gonna try to do better on top of all these other things. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, till next week. Thanks for hanging out in Sunset City.
Oh, my birthday is tomorrow.
Hey!
Hey, happy birthday, Wallace. Hell yeah.